Hello, everyone. My name is Katy of the Greenland Quilter, and welcome to our channel. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. And tonight it is going to be me with sorry. With Chaunda, along with My Heart Like Nikolai. He will be working on a train.
The loop.
Oh, the loop. He's working on that loop roller coaster. He's rebuilding it yet again. So that's what his plan is for tonight. And Chaunda, go ahead and say hello to everybody and tell everybody what your plans are for the night.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chaunda. My channel is Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts. So today I'm just going to be keeping it simple so I can look at the chat and talk. I don't like to show anything too complicated. So I have some blocks that I'm going to be finishing up, just some really basic blocks. I might pull out some crochet and I want to maybe finish these little baskets I've been working on. So those are my plans for today.
Okay, so what I plan on doing is I am going to, as some of y'all know, I have bought what is called a stitchit kit from Cotton Cuts. So they're basically little pre-cut kits. They come in little boxes like this. And you can buy a small, medium, and a large size. The larger size comes in these bigger boxes, and usually there's two of them. And it'll tell you how many pre-cut or die-cut pieces you're going to get per stitchit kit. And the stitchit kit, new stitchit kits with new colorways will come live on the 15th of every month of Cotton Cuts. So what I planned on doing is, since the Cotton Cuts colored challenge block is due in 2 days, I'm going to take my what I already had as a stitchit kit, and I'm going to make the block that's due for this month. And I'll show you what the pattern looks like. And I think I'm missing a piece already, which means I knocked it on the floor and can't see it. Oops.
Oops,
yeah, it's easy to do that. Okay, so anyhow, that's what I'm going to work on. And give me a minute to share my screen. I'm gonna pull up the picture of the block, but I need to go hunt the block because I downloaded it right before the live. Where are you? So hello, everyone who is in the chat already. I will point you out in just a minute. Oh, here it is. Okay. Well, if my laptop's even going to let me look at it. Hello, everyone who is in the chat. What was that?
That was probably me logging into the live. So you probably heard yourself.
Oh, yeah, I did. I was like, wait a minute, I thought I killed all those echoes I heard earlier. All right.
Because I realized I can't see the chat unless I open the live.
Oh, okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen for just a minute to show you guys what this block pattern looks like. I haven't received several of my things from Cotton Cuts because they're somewhere in mail hell. So the block that's due on the 15th of this month is on a Cotton Cuts color card. And since I haven't received my stuff, I don't have that color card. So I went over to Cotton Cuts website and I downloaded the block. It does not have the measurements on it, but I can, since I'm using a stitchit kit, I can make this block any size I want to. So let me show you what it looks like. Can y'all see this block? Does everybody see it? Honey, can you see the block I'm showing?
Not yet, but I don't know if that's because of the delay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Someone send a heart if you see it. That's kind of weird. It should be showing it. All right, let me stop the screen again and then retry it again. Share screen.
I see it now.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the pattern that I will be using. Like I said, the measurements are not on here because they just, when they post the blocks over on the actual Cotton Cuts website, you can download this month, which is available currently, and that one will have the measurements for each block. But any of the previous ones, they just post the picture, but they don't post the extra things that go with it. So, but since I have a stitch it kit and I'm going to use the small half triangles in it, I will it should come out right around the same size all the previous blocks has. And they might be a variation in, it might be a little bit smaller, or it might be a little bigger depending on the size triangles you use when you're making this. So you can actually make this block without having any measurements. All you have to decide upon is what size you want one block, because there's 4 blocks in this block. And when you decide upon that, that's when you can decide on how many half triangles that you need to make this hourglass block, because that's what this is. So when I make the first hourglass block, I will measure it to let you know what size it actually is. So anyway, that's what I'm making. And then when I finish this block, if we still have time available, I'll continue working on my UFO Carnival Bomb Pop Large. And I've been working on that on and off for the last couple of weeks during some of my lives, not all of them, but some of them, you know, just to keep my sewing mojo going. So that's what that's what I'm working on tonight. So why don't everyone who is in the chat, if you're working on a project right now, why don't you share with us what you're working on? And if you have the time, go share it over in my Facebook Greenland Quilter group of what you're working on as well. So let's get started sewing. So how's your weekend been, Chaunda?
I mean, I've been in bed most of the day.
Uh-oh.
I just kind of relaxed this morning. I've just been taking some time, and so I just kind of stayed in bed and watched TV and caught up on my shows and did a little crochet, and then I got up and washed my stepdaughter's hair, and here I am.
Oh, sounds like, are you feeling better?
Oh, yeah, much better. I wasn't sick or anything. I just was lazy.
Yeah, it's raining here, so all I want to do is just go back to bed and go to sleep and be left alone, you know.
Yeah,
But
well, I know it rained
do that.
yesterday, but I haven't stepped outside to know if it's raining today.
Yeah, it's raining right now. That's why I want to sleep. When it rains, I want to just sleep. Okay, I'm going to say hello to Robin and Michelle and Joy T. They're here along with Vicky and Jess and Glenda, Jackie. Let's see, Denise is here. Glenda's here. Hey, Patty, how you doing? Let me see. Have I missed anyone? If I missed anyone, hello. And Nora has her behind parked right in front of my sewing machine pedal. So when I go pressing on it, I'm going to have to make sure her head ain't laying on it. Switch to. Okay, so I thought I would ask some random questions while we're doing this and see what kind of answers we get. So let me see, what random question can I ask? Oh, so here's a good little let me think. What do I want to ask you as a question? Hi, Mona. Welcome. Where is everybody viewing our live from today? We'll start with that one. And then I'm going to start sewing. Where is everyone watching us from?
Out to answer that?
No, because they know where you're at. Silly man. My silly hubby. All right. How's the weather your way, Chaunda?
Hot.
Have y'all had
I mean,
any?
it's summer in North Carolina, so every day is hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot when we wake up. It's hot when we go to sleep at night. It's just hot.
I feel for. Did you know that there is a big percentage of Americans that don't have air conditioning?
Yeah, there are some states where, depending on where you live, it might not be necessary.
I think in Denmark, when we stay in hotels, they don't generally have air conditioners, but there's been a couple of them that has since put in HVAC systems
Yeah.
in the room so people don't burn up, because a lot of places you can't open a window because you're in a 10-story building or whatever. They don't want people jumping out of windows, I don't think.
I know growing up, I grew up in New York and I grew up in an apartment building, so we did not have central heat or air. So we had window units, but not having air conditioning was just not a thing. From our grandparents, it was an absolute necessity.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a necessity all the way around if things keep going the way they're going.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten warmer.
Yep. So
Yeah, Vera, it's a pretty extensive stash of fat quarters back there.
yeah, Vera says you have. Hi, Vera. Vera says you have the best stash of fat quarters she's ever known. Uh huh.
I thought about trying to count them one day, and then I just decided I didn't want to do that.
You don't want to know.
No, it's not that I don't want to know. It's the effort that it would take.
Pull them all down and count them.
Yeah, it would literally take me probably 3 days to get it all down and count it because there's so many bundles and then the singles. It's just too many.
So people are answering my question. So here's where we are. Joy T says North Carolina. Jess says North
Hey.
Carolina. Lori says Forest, Virginia. Mona being funny says my iPad. Jackie says Tempe, Arizona is 109 degrees. Wow. Hi Elena, welcome. She is from Vacayville, California. Hello, Frank from hot Florida. That's what his answer was. Vicky says I am in Michigan in front of my computer. Let me see here. Denise says Illinois. And Jackie says, when we moved to Florida in 1961, the house didn't have any AC. It was put in before the next summer. Yeah, I don't blame
I
you
bet
there.
it was.
Florida gets bloody hot. Patty says, I never had AC until we moved here 20 years ago. It's in the same area as before. It just has air here in this house. I don't know how I survived without it. I was younger than I guess. My parents didn't have air conditioners in our house either. And then when we moved to Lake City from South Florida, the house that they rented for a long while, no, actually both houses had it. The house they rented and then the house they bought had attic fans in it. And for the longest time, you could get away with running an attic fan, except, during what we call the dog days of summer. That's what us gardeners call it. And during the dog days, you could barely keep ahead of the hot air, even with an attic fan, because it would just be so hot during the day. And eventually they put in my dad finally succumbed to the request from my mother, and they got themselves an air conditioner put in the house.
Both of my grandparents were raised in the South. My grandfather in South Carolina, my grandmother in North Carolina. Both were dirt poor. So
Yep.
there were times when my grandparents didn't even have indoor plumbing, let alone air conditioning. So when they got married and they moved in together, they decided that the one thing that they would always have was air conditioning.
Yeah. When my dad moved us from San Diego to Florida, we stopped at my grandparents' house in Alabama, Jasper, Alabama. And I had never been in a house that didn't have running water and toilets. Yeah. They had an outhouse.
Yep.
And when you're 5 years old, that outhouse looks really scary. I can remember, I'm like, I'm going to fall in. And my mom saying, no, you're not.
That outhouse looks scary to me now, okay?
I don't know that I still like seeing a big, deep hole in the wall that you're going to park your behind over, you know? But they were very poor. And you know that there was lasting memories from that visit about my grandmother. My grandmother, she was very, I don't know what you would call it, but she would walk into the kitchen and she had all the house had these lights that had like strings on them where you pull the string to turn them on.
Yes.
And that was the style of light they had. And she'd walk in there and you'd see flies mounted on the string, and she'd walk up and do that and kill the flies with her hands. And I'm like 5 years old and thinking, I want to go throw up, you know?
I definitely understand.
Oh, I sewed this one on the wrong side of the triangle. Oops, that was not good. Time to use the seam ripper. They had a dog. I don't know what kind of dog it was. I only like have vague glimpses in my brain of it. But that was the meanest dog I'd ever seen in my life.
He was probably hot from the lack of air conditioning.
Probably. I think they lived in that house for a really long time before I don't know that they ever moved out of the house that I'm aware of. It's kind of strange. I my grandmother stood out in my mind, but not my grandfather. He must have been really quiet or something. Because I know he was there. I remember seeing him, but I don't remember anything about him, you know, his personality or whether he was a grumpy old man. None of that sticks in my head.
Yeah, I do remember my grandparents and my great grandparents to some degree.
Yeah. I remember one time my mom went to, I guess someone had took her to Fort Lauderdale to see one of the sisters. Or my Aunt Bertha lives in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if she's still living or not, but we had gone down there. And I remember thinking, gosh, look at all these beautiful palm trees up and down the road in Fort Lauderdale. It was really cool looking. And I remember saying, we passed by something and I said, look at all that crap on the side of the road. And I used the word crap. My grandmother turned around and says, girl, I need to get your mother to stop on the side of the road so I can wash her mouth out with soap. And I'm like, what did I say?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't allowed to say that either.
Yeah. That they should not have crap coming out of a young lady's mouth. And I'm thinking, okay, my mother never said
say crap. I couldn't say stupid. I definitely couldn't say stupid. That was not allowed. I was not allowed to say that word.
Yep.
And that was my mother, my very young mother. My mother today is 64. So when I'm 4, you know, my mom is 20.
Yeah. Stupid wasn't allowed to be used in my household when I was raising my kids either.
And I couldn't say hate either.
Well, look how loosely that word's used.
I know. I couldn't use it toward people. I could use it toward actions and inanimate objects. Like I hate that television, but I was not allowed to say that I hate a person.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of perspective.
Hate is a strong emotional word, and you know, just because people disagree with you doesn't mean they hate you. They just don't agree with what you believe in.
Right. And so I guess I learned that at a really early. She'd be like, hate is a very strong word. You shouldn't say that you hate. And I'm like, but I hate her. No.
You really don't.
Right.
You might not like her anymore.
Or I might not like something that they did. It might even just be the action. I didn't like something that they did, but that doesn't mean that doesn't even really mean I don't like them. Just don't like what they did in that moment. So I don't know. I think it kind of helped me a lot to have some perspective. Yep.
used to say that I hated my dad. And and at the time I believed that I did, but really I didn't. I don't love him. He killed that, but I realized that hate takes you down. If you let it take you, it takes you down the avenue of anger and everything else, and it just messes up your life.
That is exactly right. Oh, I gotta.
All right.
I have 50,000 pens, but never
not one that works
within reach.
Or in reach, yeah. Okay. Let me make sure I put all these on the right side of the block, so I'm not going to have to rip anything out. That one's right. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm chain sewing so that I don't have to, sew it, clip it. I can do it all at once and then come back and, y'all know what I'm talking about.
I'm just trying to straighten up my area a tiny bit.
All right, so this needs to be this way. No, this needs to be this way, and this needs to be this way. Okay, so this side's got to be sewn on. Okay, let's get this on here. See you later, Mona.
Bye, Mona.
Be safe when you're out, Joy T. Hope you come back. Okay. Denise says, I grew up in Ohio. We lived in the country, no AC, but all the windows were open, inside doors open with screens open on the outside doors. Yeah. Screen doors and screen windows was our best friend. Patty says, hi, Nico. You have a new train set.
No, it's a loop again. Yeah, but I had a new train set that I have already built.
And hi, Glenda, for any. Oh, I already said hi. This way. Frank says, what our parents went through, we whine a lot. That was Patty.
Well, Patty, this is what the new train looks like.
Vera says, my grandparents didn't have indoor plumbing or air conditioning in Mississippi. I wonder why some of the lower southern states were like this, with no plumbing and stuff.
Probably they were more rural, right? If you've got a large population, a large group of people, like all clustered together in a more urban area, you can't exactly have an outhouse for every person, for every apart. So that's probably why it got to the South a little bit later. But my grandparents got the heck up out of Dodge as soon as they could, because my grandmother didn't have indoor plumbing when she was growing up. They got out of the South as fast as they could.
Oh my gosh, I just dropped a whole box of snippets on the floor.
You want to give your hand for that?
Stitches. Yeah, I don't mind.
Come on. Yep, back to the sewing.
Well, I needed.
I'm going to go grab something real quick. I will be right back. 2 seconds.
Okay. Just don't want to get bent. Set them up there and I'll do it.
Hey, Maya. Oh, hold on. Let me mute.
Denise says, I grew up in I already read that one. Frank says, we were afraid to lock doors for fear of losing keys or being trapped inside. some people want you to talk to them.
Me?
Yeah, Vera said, well, as soon as you get done, babe.
Right.
Vera says, Nikolai, tell us how it was when you were growing up. What she wants to know is what was it like growing up in Greenland?
Oh, so
You have to be specific with people.
oh well. It's been I don't know, but it's like good days and bad days as well, because in wintertime. All right.
Go ahead. You can go and I'll talk.
In,
You're talking.
in the wintertime when harsh weather comes, we've been like what you call it? You have to be indoors for us kids, but for grown-ups, they can do whatever they want.
In the summer months?
And in wintertime.
Oh, wintertime.
Oh, in summertime, where I used to grow up, there's a 24/7 sunshine. You're basically want to be up all day, all day until you're tired and just fall asleep. Up in disco area, there can be a 24/7 sunshine.
Did you go roaming in Disco Bay on your own?
With a boat?
No, I mean, there's icebergs and everything there. Did you kids get down there and play around them and stuff?
Oh yeah. You're a bad boy enough to do that. There's one time where a couple of us that was playing a tag with each other, where someone that was chasing them they're stepping on an ice cube where it says same size as what she had here, and both of them they just sank.
Oh boy.
In the water, and it's ice cold water. Everybody stopped what they were doing, but as soon as they come up, there's nothing else but laughter all the time. You are a little turd. You know that? Yeah.
Did y'all have rules about when you were supposed to be back home and stuff?
When it was getting dark, we get home.
So you guys were free ranging.
Yep, free ranging. Free ranging indeed.
All right, so now I got all these half triangles sewn to another half triangle. So now what I'm going to do, see, I have them this way. Now I'm going to sew them all together. Let's see. Denise says, yes, we were. This was back in 1964, and I left the state in 1976. Only been back for a few visits since then. Mona says, bye. Vera says they both lived out in the country and worked the cotton fields. Yeah, that's what my grandmother and grandfather were. They were cotton pickers. So, and they raised 13 kids making a living off of picking cotton. Jackie says, my mom didn't have indoor bathroom in their house in Michigan, just outside of Pontiac. Indoor bathroom was put in 1948. Pat says, oh no, I bet that was scary. She's talking about the ice, I think. Oh. And Frank says, it made you strong, Nico.
At first it was scary when they fall down in the water, but as soon as it popped up from the water, we couldn't stop laughing. Which is hilarious.
Would y'all, if they had gotten in trouble, would they have been adult there quick enough to help?
I don't know. I don't know if we have no adult supervision. We were only young people.
Oh no, these kids that go swim in the lake don't have adult supervision. Yep. They're just down there all day long. No parent to be seen anywhere. And I would say things like, Nikolai, what if they hit their head or something? He said someone would help. Because there's rocks and stuff around that lake. All right, let's make sure we got that center lined up. And then I'm going to pin it.
You had a fun time with that leg though, you and I, in your first walk.
Yeah.
So there's a crack a little, you said, yeah, I'm jumping.
It's funny. I was watching Vikings Valhalla last night. Or actually I watched it most of the day yesterday because season 3 came out. And so I rewatched the other 2 seasons before I started season 3. But anyway, they have a boat on a sled, and the sled is being pulled by horses, and they're pulling this sled across a river that's covered in ice. And they're at some point during their trek across the ice, they're stopped somewhere, and you can hear the lake making this sound. And I told Nicola, I'm like, gosh, that sounds like our lake. Because it makes this sound the ice does when it's moving. And when it bounces off the side of a mountain, and they had mountains on both sides of the river, look like in this video or in the in the show, and you could hear that sound vibrating off both sides of it. It was interesting that I recognized that sound. But sometimes we could be sitting in the sewing room and we could hear the ice making noises and the sound bouncing off the mountains. Isn't that right, honey?
Yes, indeed.
And you're like, what was that? Oh, that was the lake. The lake is talking. Okay, let me think of the next question I want to ask. What do I want to see? All right. Everybody tell me who your most favorite band is. One band. Tell us what your most favorite music band is. Unless you're like me, there's too many of them.
Too many, honey. Too many.
You know, if I had to say which one is my most favorite of all of them, that would be a hard case to make because I like a lot of them the same. My first 45 record was an Elton John Crocodile Rock song. So I started out with Elton John and Styx and Foreigner and a few other bands.
Me, I started from the European side.
Yep. Robin said, wait, okay, wow. Patty says Pink Floyd first. That's a good choice. Frank says Rush. I like Rush too, Frank. Robin says Nazareth.
That's a good band.
Come on, you guys, give us some bands. I know there's more in here that like music. Who's your favorite band? What is your top #1 band you like listening to, Shaunda?
There is no such thing.
I know if you're like me, it's all of them.
There is no such thing. I couldn't even, if I really thought I might be able to pick like 10 bands or groups that I really like, but I wouldn't be able to pick a favorite at all.
So who was your first? All of us start with that very first song we hear that we realize, oh, I like this music. It's the first experience of when you want to actually go out and buy one. Mine was, like I said, Elton John's Crocodile Rock. Do you remember what your first piece of music was that you really wanted to go buy that you heard?
The first, and it was a tape, right? Because we were past albums, but CDs hadn't come out yet, and it was a tape, and it was an artist by the name of Tiffany.
Okay, I think I've heard of that one.
She came up back in the day before social media, and used to play the malls.
Uh-huh.
And she did a rendition of I Think We're Alone Now.
Oh, nice.
And it was nothing like the original. But if you're, 9 or 10 or 11, and I don't think I had even heard the original.
Yeah.
So like
It's kind of like that song, You Lost That Love and Feeling. I liked it better by the newer band versus the older band. Let me see here. We've got Lori saying Chicago Eagles. Chicago
I
and
love
Eagles.
Chicago.
Me
I'm a
too.
big fan of Chicago. Peters. I was giving my mom shit the other day because I was like, Mom, I was at the house the other day and I was listening to Peter Cetera. And I
Oh,
said,
nice. I know who that is.
the only reason I know his music is because of you, because it's not my generation really. I was born in 76. I was born in a relatively urban neighborhood. Nobody else was listening to Peter Cetera except for me.
Yeah.
The only song people listened to was the one in the Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, give me a nice 80s power ballad, and I'm in heaven.
Ballads are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And there's so many bands that have Queen and
Mhm.
Scorpions. Oh my God, Scorpions has tons of ballads. And Styx has some ballads also. Ballads are just special because they tell a
Yeah.
story.
And then they all have that kind of formula where
Yep.
they kind of start out and then they kind of build up to this crescendo. I love it.
Yep. Let's see. Patty says the Beatles. Jackie says Beach Boys and the Texas Tenors. I don't know who the Texas Tenors are. That's interesting. Frank says he loves Nazareth also. Vicky says, I can't give you a favorite band. I just happen to prefer classical music. Okay. I like some classical. Denise says Harry Chapin. I bet I said that wrong the first time. Harry Chapin and the Beach Boys. Jackie says first song was a John Denver hit, Rocky Mountain High. I remember that one. Frank says my list is long. Vera says Eagles, yes. Frank says Gordon Lightfoot. Robin Marie says Boston and Journey. Oh, yes. Denise says first 45 for me was Nancy Sinatra. These boots are made for walking. Patty says, yes, my kids grew up listening to my tapes, 8 tracks of the Eagles. I totally forgot about that. And Frank says, check out Billy Strings. Okay. I remember my parents listened to country music, and they also liked Elvis Presley. And I couldn't understand the fascination for Elvis Presley because I was like, okay, whatever. But I didn't like their country music because most of the country music they listened to had to do with getting drunk or someone cheating on someone else. And I like music about love. What can I say?
My first real album was from Iron Maiden, in British, I think they call them rock band. I'm not sure.
There are heavy metal.
Heavy metal or something.
What was that you just said? The name of the band?
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden, I think, is either heavy metal or hard rock, one of the two.
I feel like they're heavy metal.
I think they're heavy metal, yeah, because I didn't much care for Iron Maiden. Too much screaming.
Are you shitting me, woman?
Language.
It's not, pardon me, but it's not just screaming, woman. I can tell you that. Some of them, they got stories with them too.
I made a comment that I wasn't a Led Zeppelin fan when I was younger, and I don't think I should have to lie and say I liked them when I didn't. But I think it was because I had a roommate. I rented a room that I shared with 2 other guys in this house, and every night when they come home from work, they would be blasting Led Zeppelin, and I got so sick and tired of hearing it. Because I'm
not familiar with Led Zeppelin at all.
I like Stairway to Heaven, that song, and there's a couple other ones, but outside of that, I might like 5 out of all the music they've made.
I don't even think I know 5 songs. I think Stairway to Heaven's probably the only one I know because it's a little before my time.
Yeah, it's the same here. It's like before my time. If I'd have been born 4 more years younger or earlier, I probably would have liked them, but I wasn't. Someone just said, Robin says, I'm with you, Nico. Twisted Sister.
Oh, yeah. I like those
We're not gonna take
it.
No.
And there's that other song about not going to school one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alice Cooper kind of came and went, kind of. I remember hearing their music and then never hearing about them again. Someone just mentioned Rolling Stones also. My goodness, I saw a video the other day of Mick Jagger singing. What was he singing? A song that really put their band on the market. He was so young. Oh my God. Huh?
Satisfaction.
It was just before that. Before that, yeah. And he was so young. He looked like a little boy.
Jumpin' Jack Flash?
No, it was before that one. Jumping Jack Flash. We need music.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the stuff like if my, like if my mom and my grandparents didn't listen to it, then I didn't really get exposed to a lot of it until like the MTV age, and I got exposed to a lot of music that way. But a lot of the bands y'all mentioned, like I don't even know who they are.
Well, in my case, when I had a car, my first car was a 1967 Pontiac GTO, and I started listening to a soft rock. Back then they called it soft rock, but it was really pop music. But they also played rock songs on it. And so I was listening to all this music in the car, and when I came home one day and I said, I want to buy some of these band music and bring it home, my parents were like, that's Satan's music. You should not be listening to Satan's music, and if I catch you, blah, blah, blah. So what we did, the reason I bought a 45 record, because it was the easiest thing I could sneak into their house and not get caught.
Oh yeah, because they can't see that little thing.
No, that little thing, you sneak it in with your books or whatever and hide it in the closet, and then whenever they would leave, we would break out all our 45 records and go in there and dance and sing to the music. They never knew we would do that while they were gone. They were so against it, and I'm like, I don't see what the difference is, because country music's just as bad, if you want to call it that.
I mean, there's always a little bit in every genre, unless
Well, yeah. Have
it's
you ever
instrumental or orchestral.
I bought Prince's 1999 album that has the double album. He put out a double album that has Little Red Corvette on it, but on the second album, the second vinyl album part of it, oh my gosh! When I first listened to that, I was like, oh, all of that language in the it was just the F word here and there and everywhere in all of his music on that second sided vinyl. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know it was like that, because you hear only what the radio would play, and they would never play music that had those kind of words in it back then.
Oh, Jackie said she got to meet Alice Cooper.
Lucky
So she was working for a local autism charity, and she met him when she picked up some signed memorabilia for a silent auction.
Nice.
Wow.
Hi, John.
Hello, John.
Hi, John. So, like I said, Armageddon, Scorpions, Enjoy.
I don't think I can ever get enough of not listening to the Scorpions, though. They just do it for me.
Even you didn't like the Handmade, they have some good music too.
Yeah.
I hear them from time to time.
Well, the interesting thing is, when I was younger and I didn't like them and I didn't like Metallica, and but then I liked Metallica when they played with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they did those Hell's Bells or whatever it was called, the bells music anyway. And I thought, wow, that sounds nice. But the older I get, some of the music I didn't like in my younger days, I actually like now, which is kind of weird. But it could be that I didn't like them in my younger years because maybe it was too in your face, too loud, too much screaming. Because that's what I call it, screaming. And and I grew up with all of that kind of loud, in your face, people in your face screaming at you stuff, and maybe that's why I didn't like it back then. And now I appreciate the music.
Let me know if my machine is loud. Okay?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I hear
I
it.
didn't remember how I had my settings, so.
Yeah, it's fine. I hear it, but it's not loud at all. Not at all. And I think some people like hearing the sound of the sewing machine. Frank says, please don't hate me, but Ozzy Rules and Black Sabbath Forever is how my teen year is how his teen years went. No, I'm not gonna hate you for that.
Ozzy Rules too, you know.
Oh wow. Vicky says she went to school with Creedence Clearwater, John F. and
wow.
Doug Clifford. Lucky you. Hell's Bells is AC/DC, Robin said. You're right.
We can mention a lot of good music bands from our time.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good bands. I feel like rock and roll is slipping away into oblivion.
It's not just rock and roll.
It's like one genre is taking over all the rest of it.
It's like they don't look for originality anymore. They just look for whatever sold well last time.
Yep. And I know I've been watching some I watch a lot of YouTube, but I like to watch a lot of YouTube music too. Different bands and stuff. And a lot of older videos, that came from the MTV era, and I forget what that other show was or channel that had music on it, VH1 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like in the 70s, the late 60s, and all of the 70s was shake your booty, get up and dance. And so they had all these TV shows where the bands were singing, but people were dancing. And when you were watching them, they all looked so happy. Like they were just having them a good time. And it's weird how from that time frame to how things are these days, things have changed a lot when it comes to the way people relate to music or participate in it.
Yep, it has.
We got some more coming off of here. Let's see. Hell's Bells is AC/DC. Yep. Lori says Doobie Brothers. Yep. Dirty Deeds by AC/DC. Vicky says they were not easy to get along with even back then. Wow. Frank says I can make quilts, but not music. Lori says Eric Clapton. Oh yes. Lori Colgan says The Who. Robin says MTV. Patty says, has anyone noticed a lot of the TV commercials are using our generation music these days? Yes, I've noticed that. Debbie says, hi, Jess. From Deb. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Frank says, I met Ronnie James Dye. Hell of a guy. Big fan. You know who I met in person? And we hung out at his house quite often. And some of y'all might know who he is, and others will say, who is that? But his name was Bo Diddley, and our close friend was his partner.
Definitely know him.
The daddy of Rhythm and Blues or whatever it was. But I actually have a hand-signed album from him. I don't know if it'll ever be worth anything, but I signed it personally. That's the only time I've ever met someone who was a musician. And he was really down to earth, but he like so many other famous people, the biggest complaint he had was people thinking he was a bank, including his own family.
Those be the main ones.
Yep. His real name was Ellis McDaniels.
Now that I did not know.
Yep. Ellis McDaniels. He was a really nice person. Look, you guys. Let me pin myself real quick. I haven't sewn them the 4 blocks together yet, but
Oh, there you go.
so as you can see, this is going to finish probably below a 10 by 10 block, which is okay because I do have some long strips that if I wanted to add to them, I could. So let me tell you what the size of one of those blocks are. Find a ruler. So one of these finishes out or unfinished, sorry. Looks like it is 4.5 by 4.5. All right, so I'm going to sew all 4 of them together and then show it to you.
And you said that you got that from Cotton Cuts?
Yeah, it's called the Stitchit Kit, and on the 15th of the month, they dump several Stitchit kits with new colorways. They do still have some colorways left from however long it's been on there, but they will post new ones on the 15th of the month, and you have all day on the 15th to buy one, and there's 3 different sizes. And let me see if I have the Stitchit link in my bot or not. Hold on a minute.
So you just make one block?
Yeah, it comes with a bunch of these triangles, and this is one block.
Okay, so you get a bunch of triangles and then you use them. Did they tell you what block to make, or
No.
you decide what to do with them?
A Stitchit kit comes here. Let me show you one. Since it got knocked on the floor, I'll just show you the other one I have. So it comes in this little box, like I told you, and you get pre-cuts or die cuts, which one you want to call them. So there's squares, half triangles, small ones. Then you have medium triangles. And they do each color in each thing that's going to go with that colorway. So here's a dark blue of a square. Here's the gray of the smaller triangle. Light blue.
Okay.
Medium light blue. Small royal blue or whatever color you call that. And then a medium of the gray. Small of the dark blue. Then you get rectangles, light blue. This color blue. This dark blue. Then you get the light gray. More small ones. This got knocked on the floor, so it's very messed up right now. That color. More small ones. So it tells you how many pieces come in the box. So I'll go over the Cotton Cuts in a minute and tell you how they're listed. This is a medium. Then in the bottom of the box will be the really big ones. And you'll get 2 different sets of those. So this came with a gray and a dark blue of the bigger.
So then you just decide what to do with them?
Yeah, you create your own thing. But what I did today is because Cotton Cuts issues a Cotton Cut challenge block every month. You can actually take these pre-cuts to make that color challenge card.
Okay.
If you don't, but otherwise you can just take this and design yourself your own thing. And it's fun. but I'll refix this box later. I don't want to waste time fixing it right now. I knocked it on the floor, so all of it came out. All right, hold on a minute. We're going to go over to Qaqortoq's website. So let me pull it up. And then I'll share the screen.
Jealous bud.
Who is it, Nora or
Dum
Coda?
Dum dum. She jumped on me, now he wants some too. Dude. Really?
The dogs are bothering you. Okay, all right. I am going to share my screen, I hope. Let's try it to see if it's going to work. Oh, I'm still spotlighted. Nobody said anything? Okay, all right. No, I need to unspotlight myself and then share the screen. And then we're going to share this. Okay. All right. So this is over on Qaqortoq, and you can find it by going to where it says Learn More, and it says Stitch, and go down to where it says Stitch It, and you click on the Stitch It, and it takes you to this page. So Stitch It is an offering from Qaqortoq die cutting, and you'll see seeing your creativity in action. Why not you send hundreds of die cut pieces of coordinated fabrics and let your design enthusiasts run free? The possibilities are endless to create one-of-a-kind creation for each quilter. Each Stitch It comes with a retro color challenge card to help you unleash your creativity. Do you love our color challenge cards? See more here. So it's talking about that. And here's how it works. Each month on the 15th of the month at 11 a.m. Central Time, they will post a limited batch of Stitch It kits. Sometimes they're florals, sometimes batiks, sometimes modern, but always from a recent collection meant to tickle your inner inspiration. So here's the sizes that you get. You get 3 different, you can pay for 3 different sizes. The Super has 400 pieces for $55. The Mini has 250 pieces for $35. And the Quick one has over 150 pieces for $20. Okay. The fabric will change monthly. Set your calendars. When they're sold out, they usually sell out within an hour, usually, or less than an hour. So you don't want to miss it. So let's go over to what they do actually have on there right now. Okay, so right now, sitting in the shop is a Stitch It July. It's called Stitch It July by the Glow of the Moon by Demonica Gordet for Cotton and Steel of Robert or RJR Fabrics. Hang on a minute. Let me see. Okay, so here's what's in that one. They're using these 3 colorways. The next one is Stitch It July Wild Abandoned by Heather Bailey for Figo Fabrics. Oh, come on. There we go. So this one has will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in it. The next one, everybody can see this, right, honey? The next one is Stitch It July Painterly Trees by Claire Brenner for Robert Kaufman. This one has 3 colors. The next sets are Stitch It June Emery Walker by the Original Morris & Co. for Free Spirit Fabrics. This one looks like it has 4 colors in it. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's okay, so here's one that they have sold out of the Quick and the Mini. All that's left is the Super, which is 400 pieces. So this was probably offered last month, and they still have something left. Okay.
I can imagine, like, that's a lot of pieces of just 3 prints, though.
You mean to cut?
No, I mean, like, so to have 400 pieces, but they're all from just 3 different fabrics.
Yeah, I have never seen it where it's just 3. So that would be interesting because look at this one. This one looks like the same fabric from my bomb pop. Not bomb pop, hot air balloon. This one is Stitchit June. This was from June, Fairfield by Whistler Studios for Wyndham Fabric. This one comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 colors. And they only have the quick and the super left of that one. And
it seems like a pretty neat idea. I mean, I can't really justify it because I've got too much fabric already, but that seems like a pretty cool idea because then the pieces are all die cut and then you can literally just put them together like a puzzle.
Yeah. And just
make whatever you want.
Yep.
Yeah. You can really I think that'd be a good way to step into like a controlled freeform quilting.
Mm-hmm. The one that I just showed you was from May, and it was Karen Gibbs by Valley Boutiques. There's also a Stitchit by Kate, a Stitchit Scribbles by Karen Gibbs for Banyan Boutiques, Stitchit Kit for April. What's this one? Something I can't see it because something is in my way. Nope, can't move that. Oh, here we go.
That April Gradients one is looking pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
that
good.
gradient one has several in it. Look at this one. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors in it.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool just to get one of the super packs,
yep.
and then just pick the pieces up and just sew and just see what you end up with.
Yeah,
I like to try that one day.
Yeah,
I might try that. I might actually try that.
And the thing is for $20, if you buy like the one that has 150 pieces in it, it gives you if you buy a small kit because you're not sure whether you would like creating something this way, it would give you a chance to test it out and see if you actually like it. This one here that says limited Stitchit Murano by Old Deal, and I don't know how to say that name. For free spin, that one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors in it.
Yeah, for that one, that would be pretty. Those colors are a lot, so I'd probably have to mix something in with that.
I would want to put a background in it.
Yeah, I'd have to put a background in that one. But some of the other ones, I would just put them together and see what I got.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like what I'm doing with this little block. I made one of these blocks, or when I first got this kit, I made a big block. And I couldn't believe the amount of people that complained about it being too busy. But when you look at it, it's beautiful. So I don't know why they thought it was so busy.
To each their own, right? You know, everybody's got a different style, right?
Yep.
Somebody, I don't think that block is busy.
They thought it was busy. I'm like, wow, let's just criticize straight out of the box.
I don't think that's busy at all.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack real quick here.
Oh yeah, I got too distracted by the cotton cuts.
Vicky says, what really throws me is that John F. and I are both almost 80 years old. John F. who?
Fogarty.
Oh, John Fogarty. Okay. 80. Wow. Lori, nope, it's not here yet. Soon CCR revisited without John in 2013 or 2014. They rocked. You know who I would, if there was anyone in the world I would like to meet in person, and that would probably, and some of y'all are gonna be like, ew, I hate him. I would love to meet John Bon Jovi and his wife in person. They are so cool.
Oh, oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got distracted.
John Bon Jovi and I are both 1962 babies and March babies. I'm serious. We really are. He was born March the 2nd, I think, of the same year I was born.
So Denise Showpatch 33 says she has a few of the boxes, and Ian has a video on how to use the blocks, and he also shows how he did his layout for his quilt. Cool. I don't think I want to watch that. I want to just pull the box out and just start organically putting the pieces together and see what I come up with. Because I know me, if I see someone else, my brain is going to automatically try to mirror what they did.
Yeah,
I'm going to come in cold.
I got Ian one that had tulle pink fabric in it. I bought him a stitchit kit, and he he didn't know he was getting it.
Nice.
So he had fun putting it together, and he did it on the fly on a live.
Right. That's what I want to do. I just kind of want to get the pieces and just put them together on the fly. Not necessarily in a live, but that's how I want to approach it. I think that would
Yep.
be really fun.
Yep. Did you just break something, honey?
No, just hit it with that. Put it away because it's a big part of it.
I'm surprised to see that there's little ears hanging off the sides of this.
Well,
Triangles.
did you tell them that there was only three days difference between our birthdays?
I don't know if they heard that or not. I think they know that because we had those birthdays in the United States together.
Yeah.
Our birthdays are 3 days apart. And my daughter's, it's funny, March is just full of birthdays because we have used to be before, yeah. Anyway, she was born exactly a week before my birthday in March. And then Nikolai's birthday is 3 days before my birthday. And then my birthday comes. And then my brother has a birthday on the last day of March.
My grandmother's the 7th.
All us March babies. Okay, let me make sure these line up okay before I go sewing them together. Oh, that one's out of the line. They're both out of the line. All right, that means I need to figure out something here.
Oh, I'm making hot dog.
Cool, honey. Joyce says, I'm going to have to check out the stitchits. I've heard of it, but never really paid any attention to it. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's fun. It's just something where you just get to be creative.
Yeah, I definitely like the concept. I had never heard of it because I've been avoiding websites and stuff like that just because I'm trying not to shop, and so I've been avoiding it. So I hadn't heard about it, but that sounds like I really like that concept. It's a very different concept.
Yep.
I think I want to try that out.
I'm waiting to see what they come out for it after on the 15th, what they're going to have. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on it and look for something that really like appeals to me.
Yep.
And $55, you can't really beat that, you know?
No, you can't. You can make a whole quilt out of that.
Right. For 400 pieces for $55 and you can get a quilt out of it.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
What were you saying to Chaunda, honey?
I was just want to ask her if she's hungry.
She might
What was
not.
that?
Are you hungry?
Yeah, I'm over here eating.
Oh, because I got some pretzels and hot dogs here.
I've got me a snack plate. I've got some hard-boiled eggs, some cheese, pepperoni, and ham.
You should show her because then she'll get why you brought it up.
Well, I already did.
You showed it to her?
Yeah. No.
What is that? Oh my God. I wasn't looking at What is that?
Pretzels and hot dogs. Lego.
Did you make it?
No, it's part of this. It's part of this Lego set.
Oh, okay. It's part of what you're building.
Yeah.
They make sure that they put everything that you would find in whatever it is you're making.
You have the scissors too, honey, huh?
Yeah, the
Lego-
scissors are hanging over here on the sewing machine.
Lego scissors.
Yeah, they're like little tiny scissors. I got them hanging on my sewing machine threader.
Denise says she watches to see what the boxes are about. Lori says I guess she's the 25th of March for Lori. Joyce is
day
a March
before my
baby on the 5th.
birthday. That's too funny.
Denise says she's gonna do her own thing with the boxes.
Yeah, you could do anything with them. I'm doing the color challenge because I thought it would be fun to do it, you know? One of my
Robin
sons is
says,
in January too.
Robin says June is their month. They've got 7 birthdays and 2 anniversaries.
Wow. It seems like I have a never-ending flow of birthdays starting in December. My granddaughter was born on the 17th of December.
My son is the 5th of December.
December, baby.
And I have a cousin that has the same birthday also.
And then my son has his birthday in January. Then my oldest daughter is the first part of February. Youngest daughter is in March. Mine's in March. Nikolai's is in March. I hope I didn't put this on the wrong side. Oh, this one's right. Okay, now we'll go rip the other one out and redo it too. Okay, so now that we've talked about bands,
we could still continue to talk about the band.
I was thinking of what else we could talk about.
Movies, TV shows. Well, I've been wanting to get my hands on that good old Batman movie TV show. Not for my job.
Oh, the old one?
Yeah, the old one.
The fake ones?
Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. I woke up this way. I'm ripping out a seam, so bear with me here for a minute while I'm doing that.
Oh, sorry, I'm covering my camera with my fabric.
How's your project coming along?
Mine or Nikolai?
No, the one you're working on.
I just sewed all my blocks. I need to press them. And I've drawn the lines for my basket liners. And right now I am attaching the outside of the basket to the soft and stable. So I'm just kind of all over the place at the moment. I want to get the blocks done and I want to get these little baskets done. That's why I was most excited about this Zoom, is because I haven't really been sewing a lot, and this is going to make me do that.
Yep. How come you just been so busy you've been able to sew?
Yeah, I just had a lot of stuff going on. It's just summer. Summer is just a time when there's just a lot more going on. I've got a lot more like activities outside of the home.
Yeah.
And so I don't have as much time to sew. Because even just like my water aerobics, like if I go on a Tuesday, that means I'm leaving my house about 5:45 and I'm not getting home until like 8:15. So that's kind of my sew time.
Yeah. By then, and you're after being in the water that long, you're not going to want to do anything anyway.
Hmm. And then on Thursday, I do the same thing. And then usually Saturday morning, the same thing. My son has a job now, so I, take him to work, pick him up. I mean, it doesn't take long to do that, but it's just time that I would normally spend on myself that I'm not.
Yep.
My earbud is about to die. I'm gonna have to go replace it. It is hot down here. Why is it so hot?
It's hot in our house too. So join the club.
It's just hot down here. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit.
Do you have a fan that you can turn on?
Yeah, I mean I have an air conditioning unit down here. I'm gonna turn it down a notch. It's fine for like just work, but I tend to get a bit warmer when I'm sewing.
I think it's because we're ironing and all these lights and stuff we have on.
Yeah, I just get warm.
I have a fan that's blowing on me right now just so I don't sit here and sweat buckets of water.
Now, yeah, and I do have a fan. I could turn the fan on.
Nikolai brought home two little mini fans. So one of them's parked by the bed, and the other one's parked in front of here where it's right on me.
We like it super cool, so we actually, even though we have central air conditioning, we have a window unit in our bedroom,
Wow.
so we can keep it at like 60 degrees.
I never understood why my mom didn't she ran the heat in the winter months, but she ran it so that you had to wear clothes. You couldn't just go strip off and climb in your bed.
Well,
And
yeah.
and I never really understood why, but you know what? I think it's because you sleep better when it's chillier.
Well, that yeah, you definitely sleep better in a cold room. That's true, but also it gets expensive.
And I tend to sleep with the bedroom window open a lot, sometimes even in the winter months. Nikolai will come in, aren't you
Yeah,
cold? No.
yeah, in the winter, we'll do that in the winter. But in the summer, we've got that. And even sometimes in the winter, like if we don't want the window open, we'll still run the AC at 60 degrees.
Well, we've been sleeping with two windows cracked in the bedroom, and I woke up this morning with mosquito bites all over me. So we have a
Yeah,
mosquito in the room chomping down and having fun with me, and not
that
a bite
happens to
on
me
him anywhere.
regardless. That happens to me regardless. Like I go to sleep and I wake up with mosquito bites.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're coming through the air conditioner. I don't know how they're getting in
but
there,
we don't
but
have screens on our windows, so they came right through the window.
oh,
I
we
have
have
it's
screens, but they still get in here.
I don't know what it is about Europe, but European windows do not have screens on them. Even the hotel windows that do open don't have screens on them.
I need to clean up
I'm
my
like,
sewing
I don't know
area.
how you like having bugs in your house. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
All right, let me see if this lined up better this go around. Oh, that one's fine. Let's see if the other one turned out okay. Yep, I'm going to press these. Be right back. I'm working on clue 6 for Cotton Cuts Tree of Life, Lori says. Don't know how to spell that, Frank says. Spell what? Patty asked about Cherrywood subscription boxes, if anyone was doing one. I'm not. I'm a little leery about the fabric.
What is it called?
Cherrywood.
I haven't even heard of that.
The Cherrywood dyes their own fabric in big, huge wash machines.
I'm probably too cheap for whatever they charge.
And the price of their fabric is very expensive.
Yeah, it's when you said dye their own, I was like, out of my price range.
Yeah, it's definitely out of my price range. It's more expensive than batiks. And really, batiks run neck and neck with cotton. But their cotton is very expensive. And all of their fabric is solids. It doesn't have prints or anything on it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't like that anyway.
Yeah, it's solids.
I don't really rock with solids hard like that. Okay. So I need to mark this. Where?
Hey, mate, what's with my nose? Uh-oh.
Okay.
It's not what you said to me.
Yeah, it's because freaking YouTube might demonetize me for bad language.
I have a terrible potty mouth. It is such a struggle for me to watch my mouth.
I don't think we should call ourselves potty mouth though. It's the only reason that people find it offensive is because they give power to the word.
I think you're right.
I learned that from a friend because there's a particular word that I really don't like at all. I don't like it coming off men's mouth, put it that way. And my friend in New York, she says, I'm going to teach you something. She says, if you didn't give power to any word, it wouldn't bother you so much. So we're just going to say that particular word until you get tired of hearing that word. And they did. They used that word so many times. And I'm like, oh my God. But I learned something from it. She was trying to teach me that if I didn't give such power to it, then it wouldn't bother and allow it to control and bother my emotions so much. And I just ignored it and went on about my business. And so I ignore words these days. I hear them, but I don't think about them.
Yeah, there aren't many words that are gonna upset me. I just worry about upsetting other people.
Yeah, we used to be a polite society, but we're not anymore.
Yeah.
People
I'm
can
pretty
say,
thick-skinned too, so
yeah. And have people telling you you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that kind of thing. You know, they didn't stick their nose where it didn't belong.
yeah. Everybody used to mind their business.
Yes, they did, but now they don't.
Found your flag, honey.
You found my flag?
Yeah.
Oh, it was sitting up on the ironing board the whole time?
Yeah.
Ah, that's why you couldn't find it. I didn't remember putting it on the ironing board. Maybe I was gonna, maybe I was going to press it or something. I don't know. Well, it didn't get hung up either way.
Yep.
I was gonna hang the flag up for the 4th of July, but we couldn't figure out where I had laid it at. It's been sitting on the iron the whole time.
I was shocked that I got my 4th of July decorations actually out. Shocked.
Well, I just wanted to fly the flag for the whole day, and it just didn't get around. But our United States flag was hung up at the government office the whole time, though.
Okay.
They were flying it next to the Greenland flag, and they were wishing the United States happy Independence Day. See, my boss, his husband, is the ambassador of Greenland, and so they've been living in the United States during his term. So she's home right now because she's got a business to run for tourism, which right now is at a screeching halt because all of South Greenland is covered in ice. Wait, let me rephrase that. It's like a bumper car or a bumper on a car, you know? Only this is ice, and it's snug against the southern part of South Greenland. So no tourist ships can get in because apparently the ice is more than 2 meters thick. So yes, in the news today here, all these businesses that depend on tourism in the summer months they're not earning any money, and they have loans to pay and bills to pay and employees to pay.
So it's summertime and you're covered in ice?
Yeah, the whole water, if you go to Google Earth, you should be able to see it. But there's a big white sheet of ice all the way around the southern part of Greenland.
Do they know why?
It's been there since the last week in February. The water got too warm up north, and so it moved it down here. And that's why we're seeing so many polar bears, because the polar bears are on the ice along with seals and stuff. So we don't know why it's stuck here, why it hasn't moved, out to the ocean. It's something to do with our weather and steering currents. Because sea ice doesn't melt like overnight. It takes time to melt all that out.
Yeah.
Oh no, my thread broke. Why did that do that? That's a good question. Why did that break right there? Huh.
Check the chat.
All right, let's try this. I'm gonna rethread.
Frank, I'm in North Carolina. That's where I'm located. I'm in like central North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh. Right next to Raleigh. Let's see.
So anyway, the government, I think, is going to step forward and help all these businesses. I don't know what about us employees who don't have a job right now, because that's when I work, is during the summertime. Summertime.
Robin says her son cut her yard today. Frank says it's mowing day. Don't have a boy handy. Robin said she had to pay him, but she doesn't feel good, so it's worth it. Frank said he'd pay the dad rate. Do it myself. Let's see. Frank says, do you get to spoil kids while he's mowing? And Robin says, every time I stop swearing, someone tells me how good I'm doing.
Joy T says, if you live in North Carolina, stay inside.
Oh yeah, it's hot out there. I don't go outside.
It's hot out there.
I don't go outside until it's like after 6, 7. Unless I'm going to the pool, then that's different. But
alrighty then, we're gonna need what did I do with that thing? What did I do with it? Huh. I'm going to test out a generic pressing pen. See?
There you go.
It's just Mary from Quilts on Fire. She sent me a care package, and these were inside of the care package.
Nice.
She said she only paid, like, she gets $5 for $5 a piece, or $5 for $5, which means they're only $1 a piece. And we pay $25 for that acorn pin kit.
I don't. I use the same thing.
did,
Mine is not as big. Mine is not as big, but it was just a refillable paint pen.
Yeah.
And I put my best press in it.
Store.
Yeah.
And I can see that either the pin portion soaked up some of the flatter stuff, or it has dissipated a little bit.
Yeah, mine doesn't have a fabric tip. Mine has like a plastic paintbrush tip.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think I lose less because of that.
Yeah, I understand that.
This is what mine looks like. It's plastic tip.
Does it bend?
The tip? Yeah, it's like a paintbrush.
Oh, it's flexible. Oh, cool.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to look for those when I come back to the States again.
It will, like, over a long period of time, it will start to evaporate. So I really don't put anything in there unless I'm ready to use it. And I usually don't fill it.
I wanted to see if any of it would leak out of it. That's why I put some in it. And it's only been a little bit. It's not like what I've been finding. My acorn pen, I would put starch in there, that came with it. And then use a little bit of it when I was sewing and come back the next morning to sew again. And all of the starch I had put in there was gone.
Yeah, I think that fabric tip helps, soak up the liquid.
Apparently.
But I did end up with one of those acorn pressing kits, though. I did end up with one, but I think it came in a Sew Sampler box, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I remember that someone said that they got one in a Sew Sampler box. I'm like, this is what happens when you cancel Sew Sampler boxes.
It's been pretty decent. Although I gave away the last box, not because I didn't like it. I just knew I would never use a honey bun.
I have a couple honey buns.
I got a couple up there, but I'd rather use one of the ones that I already have than the one that came. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna give this away. Came with a little Creative Grids ruler.
Oh, nice.
I gave it all away. Okay, so I did that. And now I need to...
I think maybe I need to change my ironing board cover. I think that might be the problem with my nose.
Hey, cut it out, girl.
Have they been outside?
Yeah, they've been outside even before this live started.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you. Cut it out. Really? Butthead. Beavis and Butthead.
All righty, you guys. I have this put together. And let me measure it to see what it turned out to be by using the small triangle. And then I'll show it to you. That's interesting.
Your nose is cold, girl.
So it is 9 inches. or just a hair under 9 inches. It's more like 8 3/4. And why do I have that odd? I have no idea. Anyway, here it is.
Oh, you finished it.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
I see a mistake. Shoot.
What did you do?
Tell me what you can see.
Were they supposed to be opposite?
Yeah, the color. So there
Greens?
should be a yellow over here.
Yeah.
And a green or green here. You know, anyway, I gotta fix that. That's not going to work.
I mean, nobody would have known that though.
No, except me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mine could leave it like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed it until you said something was wrong, and then I looked and I was like, oh, she probably meant to make them opposite corners for the colors. But if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have said anything was wrong. But if you don't like it, by all means,
Oh,
fix it.
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it should have been opposite of each other. And someone will probably point that out if I leave it like that.
Those people aren't your real friends, Katie.
Like
Anybody who would point that out is not your real friend.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. That's just, some people are just like they see things that I'm not very observant, so I don't really notice stuff. And some people really do. And they bring it to your attention and they're not trying to be mean. They're just letting you know. And I get that. So I'm being facetious when I say they're not your friends. Because Lord knows I pointed out some things to my friends that I really probably could have just stayed silent about. I know I have.
And I think the reason I got this way is because I had one of the blocks on the wrong side of the other block. And that's how I came to that position. I think I'm going to take it out and fix it. Because, it might bother me later. All right, we're going to get the ripper out again and proceed to fix this. If you don't say, uh-oh, nobody will know something is wrong. That's right. Robin says, I seen it, but kept my mouth shut. See? The block does look good, though. You're right. But
it does look good.
I'm going to rip the seam out and fix it. Otherwise, it might just bug me later. And then I'll really want to rip it out. And then wonder why I didn't rip it out to start with and didn't remember why I didn't rip it out. You know what I mean?
Why didn't I fix that? I've done that. Why didn't I fix that?
And it was probably because I was I'll just do it another day. And then forgot I said that to myself.
Yes, I do. Unfortunately.
And with me and half square triangles and turning them the wrong way is definitely something that happens a lot with me.
I think we all do that one, Katie.
I am so angle challenged at times. It's crazy.
You're not very good at it yet.
No, you would think by now, though, I would be correcting but I keep repeating the same mistake. Why is that?
Because we're human.
Yep. We're not perfect. That's right. And I'm not getting down on myself. I just wish that I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Then you wouldn't be human. You'd be a cyborg, and that would be no fun.
You're right. You're so right. My friend is full of good advice today. I have missed sewing with you, girlfriend.
I know. I haven't really sewn. Like I said, I haven't really been sewing a lot at all. That's why, like, when you brought it up, I was like, God, I don't know if I should. I don't want to have, because I didn't want something to come up and I had to back out. And I was like, no, I'm gonna make sure that nothing comes up, and I'm gonna have this time, and I'm gonna sew.
I was going through the video. I've been editing the text and stuff in some of my videos, making them look nicer, neater, in the description box and things like that.
Oh, look at
And
you.
I
You're
was
so
going through the videos and I'm like, golly, me and Shaunda has it sewn since like, I don't know, earlier in the year.
yeah, it's been a minute.
Yep. And I like sewing with Stephanie Harris too. She's so laid back and calm.
What's the name of her channel?
Memoirs of a Long Arm.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
She's
Like
laid
sometimes
back.
I know the channel names, but not like the people names sometimes.
Yeah. She's really laid back like you are. Don't get in a hurry to do anything, you know?
Yeah,
That's
you
not
know
what I mean.
why?
I mean, she doesn't get excited when she makes a mistake. Put it that way.
Yeah, because why?
Yeah.
Like I do this because like the whole point of me doing this is to relax and calm down and not think about
Yep.
the everyday stress of life. And so if I allow this to stress me out, then it's not serving its purpose. Now, that being said, sometimes I still get stressed out. It happens sometimes. Man, it happens sometimes.
Yep. Sometimes I'll say a naughty word and Nikolai will, uh-oh, she done something wrong. What'd you do? And I'll show
Maybe
him. He's like,
it's time
oh,
time
well,
to
it's all
step
right the way
away.
it is. Yeah. And he'll
It's
say,
time
why
for
don't
a
you just
break.
leave it?
Yeah.
Nope, not leaving it.
Like one time I literally made the same mistake 3 times. I sewed
Oh,
something
I've done
wrong
that.
three
Yep.
times. And it's like, okay, at this point, I need to step away
Yep.
because my
He has
focus
me.
isn't there.
Yep. He has me do that from time to time too. He'll come in here and he'll say, you know, you've been in here a long time and I can see you're a bit frazzled or frustrated. Why don't you step away?
And so they all say they liked your block, Katie.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm redoing the part I made a mistake on.
I said you get up in the middle of the night to fix it.
Joanna Walker says, I really miss Shaunda's videos. I enjoy them tremendously.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. God, I think I'm flashing. I think that's what it is. That's what's happening here. I'm having hot flashes.
Put the fan in front of you then.
Yeah, I just turned it on. Because
Put
I
it
was
on you.
fine. I was
Does,
fine, and now I'm not fine.
does hot flashes ever go away once you hit menopause?
I don't know. I have to ask my grandmother. She's like in her 80s, so maybe she'll know. I mean, mine aren't bad, so I'm not complaining. My hot flashes are not bad. I'm not like every once in a while I might get one where it's like I got to take the clothes off, like I'm hot. But for the most part, I'm okay. I get a little warm, I put a fan on. If it's winter time, I just step outside for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Boom, hot flash is over.
Yeah, I go stand in the front doorway and leave the door open and let some of the air in it and let some of the heat
Hmm.
out at the same time. And because I'm having a hot flash. But I try not to
Orphan,
leave the door hanging open too long in the winter months.
yeah, I
Okay.
agree. Robin asked about orphan blocks. She said, are they called orphan blocks because you messed them up? Sometimes, yeah. But also it can just be a block that's left over from a project. Like you made too many and you've got one left over. And that can be, it's just a block that doesn't quite have a home. That's how I define them. Yeah, and yeah, Denise says sometimes you just don't like the colorway or how the block went together.
Okay, and Joy asked about Thomas and Blaze. Today's Blaze's birthday, by the way. He
Happy
turned 8
birthday,
today.
Blaze.
Yep, he turned 8 today. They're hanging in there. Their position for housing has moved up to the first position, but that could be weeks, months down the road, is what they're saying. So he's still homeless. We got a few donations at the very beginning, and I'm still I haven't set a drawing day for the 2 quilts yet, but I'll probably do it sometime in August. I'm just hoping that more donations come in the meantime. In the meantime, we're just going to take it one day at a time. If push comes, so here's the plan, sort of a plan. 2 of 3 things can happen within the next however many days. He gets a job and still he'll be homeless, or he gets a job and housing opens up right away and they get put into a housing, or B, they stay homeless the whole time, still looking for work, and we end up flying them to Greenland. But there is a whole can of worms that we're having to open for this alternative decision. And part of it has to do with the fact that Blaze's mother is nowhere to be found. And in order to get a passport, both parents need to be signing off on it. There is a form in Georgia that can be filled out that has to do with the fact that we don't know where she's at. And then the Pathways community has pro bono lawyers. So they've contacted one of the lawyers to talk to them about the situation and find out what we can do to get a passport for Blaze, because I don't want my son getting arrested for taking his son out of the country.
Definitely not.
But there's a lot of things on the form that asks, has there been any court blah blah blahs and stuff. So here's the deal. The Department of Children's and Family Services in Florida contacted me to say that they were going to remove all the kids that Heather had because of her drug use and because she basically didn't have the kids in a stable environment. She was wherever she was finding her drugs is where her and the kids would be. And so I don't know how they got my phone number, but they called me here in Greenland and said, is Blaze Thomas Alvin Douglas your grandson? Yes. Is everything okay? Because, you know, not every day somebody's going to call me from the United States about my grandson. And they told me, is there anyone in your family? Do you know where Blaze's dad is? I said, yeah, he's in California. And the next question was, is there anyone in Florida that's a family can come and pick up Blaze? And I said, well, you're going to have to tell me what's going on. So basically, they told me that they were going to remove all the boys from her custody. And they were giving family members a chance to step up to the plate and take custody if they wanted to. So my daughter was already down in South Florida for the weekend. She had gone to a convention or something. And when I contacted her, I didn't even know she was down there. And so all she had to do was drive from Tampa to Orlando to pick up Blaze. And so Heather wrote out this paper with a witness, and then it was signed again in front of my daughter and her friend, saying she was turning over all parental rights of Blaze to Thomas through Lynette. And when we talked to DCF, and I said, is this going to be a legal thing that he's going to get sent to another state? Because my daughter will get on a plane and take Blaze to California. And so my daughter had him for a month, and DCF finally come back through and says, yeah, you can take him out of state, no problem. And so he was taken out of state and he was handed over to his dad. Now, there was no court order, no court papers, no lawyers, no papers signed, nothing. And then she was pregnant at the time. No, she wasn't pregnant yet, but she did get pregnant. And they removed that baby. That baby was addicted to 2 of the worst things on the planet. And then recent news was that her sister Amber put a missing persons thing out on her, and they found her pregnant again. It's crazy. and she left Florida and went to Pennsylvania, and the DCF in Pennsylvania took the baby as soon as it was born, and it had an addiction also. So now she's disappeared. We don't know where she's at. We just barely heard where she was, and she's already gone again. So we can't just up and take Blaze out of the country without going through all the right channels and stuff to get, because yeah,
That sounds like a lot.
there's lots of moving parts going on all at once. Thank you, Denise, for wishing happy birthday. Joyce says my menopause wasn't too bad. 20 years ago, I had a complete hysterectomy and menopause disappeared after that. Now, see, I lost my uterus when I was 32 years old, but I still have my ovaries. So I don't think I went through the change of life. Not that I'm aware of. But since, the last 6 years, babe?
Yeah.
The last 6 years, I have constant sweat flashes and heat flashes. And I'll be literally wet underneath my shirt.
Oh yeah, if you kept the ovaries, that means you kept the hormones.
Yep.
And so you're going through menopause, yeah.
Pretty sure
Same thing happened to me. How old was I? I got it in 2015, 2016 or something like that. That was when I had mine done. Sometimes I regret it, sometimes I don't.
I didn't have much of a choice. It was either that or die.
Oh no, I definitely had a choice for me. But
something happened, and the doctor seemed to think it was a lineup of things that went on in my life during that time frame. One was, so after Thomas was born, he was about 6 weeks old, I think it was. I had my tubes tied. That doctor that was doing the surgery was giving me such a hard time about me being 28 years old and not knowing my mind, that I didn't want more children, that I would regret it and come back and want it undone. And I said, listen here, buds, my marriage sucks. Just what I told him. I do not want to bring another child into the world when my marriage is such a train wreck. Because I didn't have no support, or I didn't have any way out of it, put it that way. And he says, I still think you're too young, and I said, just do the darn job. That's what I told him. Just do the job. You do not get to talk me out of this. I'm a woman and I know my mind. Well, he did it all right. 12 weeks later, guess who was pregnant?
oh, so then you didn't do it then, because you can't get pregnant without a uterus.
Wait till you hear what he did.
What did he do?
So when I gave birth to Kristen, and the doctor came in and says, I understand you want me to do your tubal over again. I said, yes. I cannot have more babies. I can't afford them. My marriage is a train wreck. Why would I want to raise more kids in this mess? It's hard enough, the ones I already have. And he says, okay. So the next morning they took me in surgery, and I don't know, I saw the doctor the next day after that, I guess. Once the anesthesia and everything had left my system, he came to see me, and he says, I have a little piece of news for you, and you're not going to like it. I'm like, okay. He says, when I went in to do your tubal, the doctor who did your tubal, he tied a tendon behind my tube. So I had one tube that was intact. So this doctor who did it the second go around, I said, well, did you take them out this time? He says, I took 2 centimeters off of each side. There is no way in hell you'll ever get pregnant again. So after the surgery, and because I had, there's only 13 months between my son and my daughter. So I had this tubal ligation, which developed a hernia, had another tubal, and it was like my uterus wouldn't go back to what it was supposed to be. And so I was having, or I didn't know it hadn't gone back, put it that way. All I knew was I couldn't leave my house because nothing I put on to take care of your monthly thing worked because it was that bad. And it would last for 20 to 25 days. I would get like a week where I didn't have anything.
That's why I ended up getting a hysterectomy, because I had never ending periods.
Yeah, it was never ending, and it was so bad I couldn't leave the house because there would always be an accident if I did.
No, I was still functional, but
Joy, I don't know if I have a cold or not. So anyway, when I had this, I went in for a DNC first because they thought I just needed to be cleaned out. And the doctor came back and he said, your uterus doesn't look right, but let's give it a few days. But if anything goes wrong, or if you feel like the bleeding hasn't stopped or it's worse than it's ever been, you need to come back to me. Well, I did. About 2 days later, I came back and I said, and when they wanted to do the examination, I told them, I said, it's a mess. You know, I was in such a mess. I couldn't stop any of it. And when he took me into surgery, my uterus was 3 times its normal size.
Well, that's not good.
And that was what was causing all that problem. So it was probably a combination of 2 pregnancies, 2 tubal surgeries, just putting my body out of whack.
Yeah, all my kids are pretty spaced apart. They're all 5 or 6 years apart, so.
I had an easy birth with Kristen. It wasn't a long one. I mean, it was an all-day affair, but I didn't go to the hospital till almost too late. But I didn't have the long labor I had with her, with the other 2 that I had. You know, the other 2 were really long labors. And I had decided I was going to not let that happen again.
All of mine were. The only one that wasn't a long labor was the last one, and that's because he was a scheduled C-section.
Yeah, they wanted to do a C-section on my first one, and I told them no.
Well, I didn't have a choice on the first one. She wouldn't come out. My body wouldn't dilate. I would go to I don't think I ever made it to 9 centimeters. I would go up to 6, go back to 4, then go to 5, go back to 3. I was all over the place.
Part of my problem had to do with all the asthma medicine I was on, and one of the asthma medications causes labor to happen, and the other asthma medication makes you not dilate properly. Aminophylline is the one that was making me not dilate like I should be, but still, I was still having active labor. And then she wouldn't flip over. She was face up in the birth canal, and they needed her to turn over so that she was face down. They never could get her to flip. And I'm like, look, she's not going to turn. Let's just get in there and let's do this. And he says, I still think we're going to have to do a C-section. I said, no, you're not. Not if I can help it. All I could think of is it would just be longer time in the hospital. We ended up a long time in the hospital anyway.
I was in labor so long that I didn't care how they got her out. I didn't care because I was in labor at home. My water broke early, so I had to go to the hospital. And then I think I was at the hospital for like 24 hours before she was actually born.
It was 32 hours in labor with Lynette and 26 for Thomas.
With the middle one, she was okay. Like I didn't want to. They said, well, you've had a C-section, so you can have another one. I was like, well, I don't want that because I don't want to choose the day she's born. I want her to be born on the day she's supposed to be born.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to schedule it. So I was like, no, I'm gonna try. So I was at home. And I labored at home for hours and hours and hours. And then finally my contractions were like 5 minutes apart. So I went to the hospital and they said, that lady checked me and she said, well, man, you're 1 centimeter. I said, take her out. I'm not doing this again. If I've been in labor all day and I'm only 1 centimeter,
time to
take
go
her out.
do it. Yep.
Take her out. not doing this again.
I know with Kristen, I woke up in labor with her on a Monday morning and we were waiting on the mailbox because we should have been getting our income tax refund check. And sure enough, we did. It came in when it was supposed to. And we went out and paid the truck off, went out to eat. And I'm in labor the whole time we're doing all this. And we around 5 o'clock we went to Walmart in the afternoon, and I told him, I said, you know what, this is getting really uncomfortable now, and I really don't want to be accidentally screaming in the store, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I think we should call your parents, and I want to go home and take a shower before we go to the hospital. And he's like, okay. So he called his parents from Walmart because they had to come get the two kids. And by the time we were done with everything, I got to the hospital around 7, I think. And the doctor came in and said, I don't know if you're gonna have the baby right now or not. And he no sooner walked out of the room and I crowned her. And like, you need to come back. And he came back and he looked, oh boy, I guess I was wrong. I said, yep, you were wrong. And so they took me and they were telling me, stop pushing. And I'm telling them to shut up and get me in there and let me have, because this is the first time I felt the whole birth process. Normally, you get a, what do you call it? Where they numb you from the waist down.
Epidural.
Yeah. And with her, they didn't have time to put an epidural in.
I couldn't get an epidural for my first child because I was too poor at the time.
Yeah.
And at the time I was on state health insurance at that point. And at that time they wouldn't pay for an epidural, which was dumb because you ended up having to pay for a C-section. Whereas if you just given me the epidural, I probably could have birthed the baby.
Yeah. What state was this in?
North Carolina.
Well,
so that would have been 1996.
Wow. Because I was on Medicaid when I had all three of mine.
Nope. They would not in the state. They would not in my state. They would not pay for an epidural. They changed that though because they realized that you're just going to end up paying for a bunch of C-sections. It's cheaper to just give them the epidural. They figured that out, but it was a little too late for me.
Robin says tubal obliteration at 25, no more for me. No, I didn't have fibroids.
I did. I had fibroids.
There's just something there's something hereditary that runs in my mom's side of the family that makes childbirth a problem. You may be able to carry the kid all the way up to the due date, but then when you go into labor, there's problems. They end up with other problems outside of it. Because my mother had a full hysterectomy in her early 40s. So whatever was causing her problems was the same problem I had. Only mine just got worse because I had all those pregnancies and everything all at once.
Lori said she went through 3 nurse shift changes before they finally let her have a C-section. And baby was 9 pounds 4 ounces. That's big because mine was
baby. Wow.
She was 8 pounds 4 ounces, and I thought that was big. 9 pounds 4 is big.
Yes, it is.
No wonder they had to do a C-section.
That is quite a big baby at 9 pounds.
Yeah, I say to myself, God, I'm really glad I got that thing because if I hadn't, I probably would have had another kid since 2015.
Yeah. I remember that after I had Kristen, I think that people started making comments even back then, that inappropriate comments. But the comment was, don't you know where babies come from? Why would you have one on top of another one? I'm like, I didn't have a choice. Well, you had a choice because you had sex. I'm like, excuse me. But as a wife, you have a duty to give your husband what he wants. Now, what do you think?
Oh, there you go. It does look better that way. I'm glad you fixed it.
Yeah, it does look much better.
Nah, no, nope, nope.
Hey, Mr. Smarty Pants over there. Let me see what time it is. Oh, look, it's 9 o'clock. We've been on air for 2 hours. How are you faring on your end?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm making my basket here. I think I'm gonna get done what I was trying to get done. I think I'm gonna have my baskets made and all my blocks made and pressed because I've already sewn the blocks. I just have to press them.
Okay. Did you want to stop or you want to keep on going?
What did we set it for?
We can do 3 hours if you want. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I came for. That's what I came prepared for. But
okay.
if you've got things to do, if you need to stop, I'm fine with that
Oh,
too.
no. I'm just making sure you're not ready to go. All right. So anyway, this is what July's Cotton Cuts Color Challenge block looks like. Pretty.
Nah.
I'm happy with it.
I like it too.
I think I made a good. I wasn't sure if I would use any of the green part of the colorway, but it turned out okay with the green. I was worried it would look bad, you know, but when you look at it in the camera, it looks pretty.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah, it does. I'm really happy with it. I wonder if I might just make another. Let me see here. Thank you, Robin. Lori says he was her first. I can't imagine having a big baby on the first go around. Lynette, look, she weighed 7 pounds, 10 ounces. Thomas, I think, weighed 8 pounds, 3 ounces. And Kristen was 8 pounds, 4 ounces, I think. But Lynette's the little one. She's still little. She's what, 5'2", maybe? She's very small. And I know that I shared some disturbing information concerning my grandson and everything. I just want all y'all to know we have been doing everything we can to make sure that he stays happy and healthy and where he needs to be. And I don't want anybody to think that we're not doing our part.
I had no doubt.
The whole situation is just
chaotic,
and there's so many moving parts going on, and you know, it's hard for me to sleep at night when I'm thinking about him, so I have to try not to think about him when I lay down and go to sleep because my brain goes into overdrive about it. I never thought I would have a family member homeless. I'm trying to find something is what I'm looking for right this minute. I'm looking for another card. These are all 2023s.
Okay.
Right.
So that part is done. Now what?
Okay, let me see. What can we ask our audience next? Is there anything you want to ask them?
What's the favorite project you've ever worked on? What's your favorite? What's your baby?
Yeah, what's your jelly? Or what's your jam? Yeah, take it easy, Frank. See.
I don't even know what mine is. Gotta think about it. Scissors. I'm gonna try to use my rotary cutter or scissors. Oh, Robin made a Bargello.
Yeah, that's cool.
I made a Bargello. I never finished it though. So it's just a quilt top, but it is lovely. It's all in batiks.
Ooh, do you have a picture of it?
I think I got the quilt. Hold on. Oh, shoot.
You mentioned batiks. I want to see. Okay, Robin. How's progress over there?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I have to move it to the what's it, ironing board, the big ironing board, because I have to gather it together for all of it. I mean, need a big table.
All right.
This thing is big though.
All right, hang on. Let me spotlight you.
Gotta make sure I got it turned the right way. It's basic.
Wow. Nice colors that I see already. Oh, that's really pretty. Look at that.
It's
Sweet.
huge.
How big is it?
80 something by 90 something.
Okay, so it'll fit a queen size bed then. That's beautiful.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, and then you can put it on your bed.
But that's like for most of, I would never put it on my bed.
Oh,
I like it too much. Because if I put it on my bed and then somebody's gonna be eating or doing something, they're gonna spill
yeah,
something,
or
and then
sitting
I'm gonna
on
be
it.
mad. I'm gonna be mad. So I'm not
Yep.
it's not going on the bed. No. Hot flash is over. I can turn the fan off now. I was like, why am I cold? Oh, the fan is on.
Man, I woke up this way. I don't know what the deal is.
So you don't know if you caught a cold or if maybe it's allergies or something.
I don't know. It's probably both. I haven't gone anywhere. We went to the store a couple days ago. Sorry.
You need to eat some whale blubber, honey.
I really don't think so, honey.
Yes.
Hmm.
Better said, you better eat some Greenlander food. It will give you some immune boost.
I think this might be a touch of allergies and some maybe sleeping with the fan on me caused it. Who knows?
Probably.
It's probably from sleeping with the fan on.
Okay.
Nora, what are you doing?
Well, since you couldn't allow me on the road, but she's going to annoy you.
She's sitting there like she's listening to what we're talking about. I'm waiting to see if she's going to lay down right in front of my sewing machine pedal. She likes to do that a lot. Ooh, your nose is cold, girlfriend. So last night, Nikolai had took the dogs out to the bathroom, and he comes back in and he says, "Where's my camera at?" And of course, we never did find the camera. And I'm like, "Why?" He says, "Look out the window." And I'm looking out the window, and I'm seeing something moving really slow across the sky. So when I was on Facebook earlier, someone posted a report from KNR, and KNR is a local news station here. Apparently, several people saw that, and they all called the police department trying to say, "There's something in the sky. What is it?" And they, they were a little bit alarmed. Come to find out, it was a weather balloon from NASA, and it had started out in Europe or something, and it was crossing over Greenland on its way back to the United States. So some
Wow.
of us saw that, and it looked like two little dots, and I'm not kidding, it was moving really slow across the sky, but you couldn't really discern what it was.
Normally, when you see an airplane crossing above you, you see it's going fast.
Yeah.
It has what do you call it?
A sound to it.
Oh, not the sound, but the smoke.
Yeah.
From the exhaust fan that you can see.
This one didn't have any of that.
So it's like moving slow. That you have to figure, what is that? There's something going on up there in the air, but I want to know what that is.
Yep.
Like you use as an inquiring mind wants to know.
Yep, as long as it's not conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've seen one in the sky, that's for sure.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen a weather balloon even in the United States. Not that I'm aware of anyway. But we have them.
I'm so oblivious, I probably never would have noticed it. It could have been right on top of my head and I wouldn't have seen it.
We're always looking at the sky, me and him. It's an interesting cloud. Uh-oh. I started on the wrong side of this one. Darn it. That's all right. We just get to flip it around and turn it around. Because I want to make sure I don't chop off a point.
What are you making now?
I'm working on my Bomb Pop Clue 5. I had started it after I finished Clue 4 on the last live. I've been working on these on and off through several lives. I'm trying to get, if I can get all of the clues done on this one, then I'll have two colorways with all the clues done, and then all I have to do is just sew all the clues together to make the quilt top.
Okay.
And then, it'll be ready for turning it into a quilt. I got behind because I was in the United States and I didn't take any sewing with me because I knew I wasn't going to be in California where the sewing machine is that I bought that's over there. And I didn't want to buy another one in Florida, so yeah. I didn't get any sewing done, put it that way.
We got lots of driving though.
Yeah, about 3,000 miles on that truck.
I'm considering oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying we did lots of road tripping while we were there.
And you nearly killed us too.
What are you talking about?
The tire.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many knew about this. I don't know if I even talked about it. But on our way from Georgia to Florida, because we're going back to Florida, we were about an hour away from Lake City. And I was in the far left lane, which was there's 3 lanes where we were at. And I was doing 70 miles an hour, which is the speed limit, you know. And I felt the vibration coming from the front of the truck. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I felt a bump. And when I looked at, and I'm like, okay, something just fell off the truck. And when I looked in my rear view mirror, piece of steel belted tire came off the tire and hit the car behind me. And I'm like, oh crap. And we're doing 70 miles an hour and it's on our front wheel, you know. And it came off the outer part of the right front tire. And I said, honey, can I get over? Because I got to hurry up and get over before it's too late. And he looked, he says, yes, go. And as soon as I crossed all the lanes, got into the emergency lane, pulled off into the emergency lane, and came to a stop, then the tire blew out.
Wow.
It didn't blow out while we were still moving.
Y'all got lucky.
Yeah, because, you know, blowouts on right front tires can be catastrophic. And I don't think I've ever had a front tire go out on me.
I've never had a blowout.
Yeah.
Mercifully, I've never had it happen.
I've had a tire go flat where, you know, it just went flat and didn't lose tread. But this one threw about this wide of a piece of tire off of it.
Yeah, same. I've only had a tire go flat. I've never. That had to be terrifying.
When we pulled off and looked at it, I'm like, my goodness, that's so lucky. Then I had to call my daughter. Do you have roadside assistance on this truck? It ended up she drove up where we were at, and we found a 24-hour tire station, and they put a new tire on the rim, and the truck got towed to the tire station. And we got it all resolved.
Bless you.
Jackie, I am working on Carnival Clue 5 of Bomb Pop.
I'm glad that we didn't leave the vehicle too.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave it on the side of the road. You know, I know Florida pretty well, but I didn't know anything about Georgia, and leaving it on the. And the thing is when it happened, there was no cars on the side of the road to start with. And then we saw a car pull off on the side of the road about
a mile ahead.
About a mile? Or do you think about a half a mile? I think it was more like a half a mile. He was in walking distance because he was walking toward us. So we hadn't got out of we had gotten out of the truck, but then we got back in because I had called Lynette, and Lynette was on her way. And we saw this car pull over, didn't think anything about it. Then we saw somebody approaching us, and I'm like, honey, does that person look like they're coming our way? He says, yep. And I guess the person didn't know that there was people sitting in the truck. And when he saw Nikolai open the car door, he turned around and went the other direction. He was coming down there to do something.
Yeah, he was gonna probably either steal the truck, rob the truck, loot it, you know, see what he could get from it.
Yep. Turns out Georgia has a interesting what was their name? That guy that stopped and sat with us for a while? What program were they through? Something through the Georgia Road Department, but it was
I think it was Jackson. I think it was Florida.
No, we were in Georgia when we had the blowout.
I think they just keep an eye on the
they're like a roadside assistance kinda. So what they do is they under a grant through Georgia. When there's stranded drivers on the side of the highway or wherever it is they're at, they come and say, can we drive you to, you know, we can get your vehicle towed somewhere, or if you need to be taken somewhere where you feel safer, we can take you. And this kind of thing. And you know, he offered to tow our truck, but I didn't know what we were going to do at the time. When he stopped and checked on us, he says, what's going on? And we told him, and he showed us his Georgia ID, you know, the company through Georgia that he worked for, you know, so that we didn't, because I was a little leery about talking to him. I didn't know who he was. And we told him that we were waiting on my daughter to get here, and then we were going to have the truck towed through road assistance to a 24-hour tire thing. And I said, "Do you know where that's at?" He says, "Actually, I do." And he told us. And so when Lynette got there, we had that information. And right before we got ready for the roadside, or before the tow truck arrived, Lynn got there first. And while we're waiting on the tow truck, he showed up again to check on us. And
Okay.
he talked to Lynette for a few minutes. And, you know, basically they help drivers who get stuck on the side of the road and have no avenue, you know, don't have plans or anything. They're there to help. And he
I think
did.
that's
He
a good
came,
idea.
yeah, he came when he said he was going to come back and check on us. He did. He came back and checked on us. Jackie says, "I am working on Clue 10 of Carnival. Then I need to start Tree of Life." Yeah, I'm waiting on my clues for my Tree of Life. I'm missing 3 of them right now. Sorry.
Bless you.
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be keep going, I guess.
Looks like seems to be that I need to make me some whale soup and warm you up.
No, you need to make your chicken soup and warm me up. The chicken soup is so yummy.
So I guess the thing you're talking about in Georgia, they have the same thing in Florida.
Yeah, I didn't know Florida had that. That's the first I'd even heard of it. And I asked him if we were going to have to pay for him stopping to sit with us. He's like, "Nope, it doesn't cost any of y'all any money." I'm like, wow. I was totally surprised by that. So here's a clue. This is so far I've done like from 1 to 3. So this is the part, this is what this looks like. So now we're going to move on to the next part of the instructions. Oh, we're going to add some stuff on here. All right, so we need big triangle A. I'm going to be sewing one of these. And I'm going to be sewing to it so I'm going to make a flying geese. So it's going to have B on one side and E on the other side, which is this clue. How many do we need to make at this one? We need to make 2 of them. And that'll be my last big or medium triangle there.
Oof. It's been a long time since I've sewn this long.
Are you getting tired?
No, it's just been a minute. I'm like, geez, it's been a minute since I've sat at my machine for this long. Like, it really has.
Your machine is probably thinking, finally, nice to have somebody back on me again.
And she's probably thinking, so you gonna buy a new machine and then just leave me sitting here?
What did you end up buying to replace the 6700 that got damaged?
A 9480.
Do you like it
TCP.
better than the 6700?
Actually, no, I do not. I had the 8200. I had the 8200, and when that one broke, I ended up with this. When I went to QuiltCon, they had this machine, and so I got the machine.
Okay.
And it really does a bunch of stuff that I don't need to do. Like I haven't gotten like it's got a bunch of features that mine didn't have, but they're not really features that I use. And it's got the free motion quilting module thing,
Uh-huh.
the stitch regulator.
Oh, it
It's
came
got
with a
that.
stitch regulation. Cool.
But I haven't gotten the hang of it. And it's got like a low bobbin indicator, which I find useless because there's still so much bobbin left when it tells you that your bobbin is low.
Mm-hmm.
And then it keeps telling you and telling you and telling you and telling you over and over again that your bobbin is low.
Oh, so you get a warning about that. Wow.
Yeah, but it's not really helpful. Because
Hey,
if I
Laura
stop,
Sup.
what happened?
Laura Sup says, hi, everyone. I'm popping in for a bit, but have to finish monogramming some towels for a wedding shower gift. I finished the throw blanket this morning with their name and wedding date. Congratulations on that.
Nice.
Then Robin says the Florida assistant people who work in the glades carry gas cans to help people. Running out of gas is big. Yeah, have you ever been down Alligator Alley? That is the longest road down there. And Robin says she has to go. Bye.
Bye,
Hi, Debbie
Robin.
Dunn. And hi, Debbie Dunn. Nice to see you. I'm sorry that I'm sniffling in y'all's ear. I can't do anything about it. I'm totally out of Benadryl, so I don't have any backup.
I used to buy Benadryl by the truckful. Seemed like.
Debbie says, I turned that off. I thought I would like it, but I find it more annoying than anything. Talking
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna turn mine off as well. I thought it would be a feature that I would like, but I guess maybe it might be different on other machines, but it's specifically on this one. There's still so much bobbin left. I think the only time that I find it marginally useful is when I'm free motion quilting, because then at least I know the bobbin is low. Because when I'm normal piecing, I can see the bobbin. I can see it.
Yep.
And I can see how much thread I have left. So it's just kind of like if I'm free motion quilting, at least then I'll know the bobbin is starting to get low and I need to be careful. But there's still so much sewing you can do once you get that low bobbin indicator.
Yep.
So I could have got a much cheaper machine and been just as happy. I could have just got my same machine. But if I had gotten my same machine, I'd be sitting here wondering if I had gotten the upgrade and I'd be, thinking about it. And so at least now I know. I bought the machine and now I know.
Jackie said, wait, who said this? Yeah, Jackie says, last time I was on Alligator Alley, it was on fire on both sides of the road. Scary. Yeah, that would scare me too.
On fire?
Yes, Florida has fires from time to time. There was one, I think it was 2005, I believe, when the entire state was on fire.
Wow.
And the fire had started in Georgia. It crossed the Florida-Georgia line and got into Osceola National Forest, and then it just took off because Florida had hardly had any rain that year, and so everything was bone dry. It burned, I don't remember how many thousands of acres, but it was a lot.
Yeah, North Carolina is the furthest south I've ever lived, so I'm not really familiar with the climates of other places and like how they are.
Florida used to be, it used to rain on a regular basis in Florida. And then our weather started changing there around, let's see, my son was born in 89, and that's when the snow came. Snow, we had enough snow on the ground and ice on the ground in December of 1989 that people who were shouldn't have been driving if they've never driven on ice were, there was so many car accidents of people plowing into each other, crashing into light poles. It was crazy.
I can
And
imagine.
the snow stayed on the ground. It snowed like 2 days before Christmas is when it happened, and then it stayed cold enough to keep the snow on the ground for 4 days. So we had a white Christmas for the first time in, you know, of living in Florida. And that cold front dropped all the way down to South Florida, and it injured thousands of acres of orange trees. And because the farmers couldn't keep up with the freezing temperatures because it was a hard freeze going on, and they had smoke pipes and big huge rain birds running water trying to keep, you know, because when ice freezes over plants from water, or when you like water the roots, because this is what I would do during the winter months if I knew I was going to have a hard freeze, everything in the yard got soaked. The water
Okay.
creates like a blanket, and when water freezes, it expands. But if the ground is already saturated with water, there won't be that expansion damaging plant material.
Gotcha.
So it's like a temporary barrier, but it will only stand up to those temperatures. Most plants that are not meant to be that cold can take maybe woody plants about 18 hours, and then you start seeing damage on them. That's not meant to be in that kind of atmosphere. They'll be about 18 hours. Like a sago can take 18 hours of -0 degrees temperature before you see freeze damage on the fronds itself. But
I can't grow anything, so I'm listening, but I have no idea what you speak of.
herbaceous plants, which are house plants, soft tissue plants and stuff, they can't take a hard freeze at all. So you have to take all of those in. And if they
Okay.
happen to be in their in their natural state in South Florida, and then they get a hard freeze, they get wiped out. And some of these plants can be 10 feet up in the air because they're growing the way they would in a rainforest. They're growing the way they're meant to. All of our house plants have a big form of them when they are in the forest.
Wow.
Okay, so here's my flying geese, you guys. So anyway, over time, it's been like cold and things get damaged that way. And then we had a drought where we had no rain for, I don't know, months on end, probably almost a whole year that year, I think. And then the fire that started in Georgia was just north of the Florida-Georgia line. And I think they determined that that got started by a cigarette. Because they did have somebody setting fires for a while there. Can you hear the dogs pacing?
Yes.
Can you go lay down? Plus, it's both of them pacing.
They're just dogs being dogs.
I'm like, go lay down. Your pacing is getting on my nerves. It's funny, some things don't bother me at all, but their pacing does. Or if I hear Coda excessively licking himself, it's like, okay, that's enough.
Like give it a rest.
Like, I can hear you. Stop. All right, something's missing, looks like.
You're missing a piece.
I think that I am. Yeah, I am actually missing something. Unless these are folded. That's not folded. Join a long A rectangle to the bottom of step 4. I don't have a long one. Sorry. Time to get my stitch it kit out.
Oops, kid.
Yeah, I meant oops kit. Yeah. I'll be right back, Shaunda.
You're fine.
I gotta go to the
I'm over
bathroom.
here. I should have used the free arm. But I did.
Never be. Go, kid. Go. Go. Never be.
Okay. Oh, it's that dry in Oregon. They're telling people not to throw their cigarettes out the car windows. That's hot. That's dry. That's dry.
Probably. I wasn't looking. I'm trying to do this fast as I can.
Sorry about that. Had to go to the bathroom.
Good.
They shouldn't be. You shouldn't be throwing cigarette butts out the window to begin with. They're still lit. I don't know why people do that, but they do. Any little thing could start a fire, just about. Okay, I'm looking for my oops kit.
Oops, I did it again.
Da, 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 da. Oh, here we go. I found the one I've already been chopping off of. All right, I need a cutting board. I'm not sure how wide this is supposed to be, though. Okay, there's that problem. I don't know how wide this is supposed to be. I'm assuming it's the same width as the short one is. See the short one? Because it looks like it's the same width.
Where you at? I mean,
This is the piece that's missing right here.
so which one? All right. So,
Which is the white.
This is
Unless it's-
the one, right?
Oh, wait, look. There's a folded one. I didn't see the folded underneath it.
There you go.
There it is. I don't have to cut it after all. Yay!
Oh, so you found it?
I found it. It was folded up and underneath the other shorter ones, because there's some short ones too. I just need to press it.
I will say, me personally, I've only done 2 cotton cuts, but I was never missing a piece.
I've only ever missed like one triangle or one, just something minute, And since I buy oops kits, I really don't. I don't even call them and say, hey, by the way, I'm missing blah blah blah, because by the time I get it, I've already done the blocks with the oops kit.
Right.
The rectangle is about 1.5 by 2.5. Thank you, Jackie. Okay, now we can get back on this. We're supposed to sew this on the bottom of these flying geese. That's right. She's working on her carnival too, so she would know which piece I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that
Very helpful.
information. One thing about this sew along is there's enough people around here that if you get stuck on something, you'll find somebody that knows the answer to it. Are you doing any? You're doing one of them, aren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. I had collected one, but I never did it. I mean, I have one that I did that I finished, but I collected Piazza.
You know what? We should have a live where you sew your UFO PMQ while I sew one.
I know we could do that.
We might get you motivated enough to stay with it while we're putting it together.
I know.
Sometimes you just need a little extra help, and sewing with someone always seems to help.
So all I got to do is whip stitch the lining closed, and I have a little basket.
All right.
Let me do my second one.
Jackie says, just happened to have Carnival on my desk. Well, that helped me out because I was about to be like, oh. All right, let's get these folded out. Babe, is that chicken thawed out?
Probably. Not picking up. They should be ready.
What's y'all's favorite? Jackie, I had signed up for it, but I'm thinking about postponing it until or I might not do it because I'm having issues with getting stuff. My subscriptions are not coming, so they're trying to figure out what the problem is or why my stuff is not getting here when it should be getting here. And I think I might set aside Wild West and just until we get things straightened out. I don't know. It's not their fault. It's something going on between the United States and here. And I don't know what the problem is, but I'm not getting my mail. All right, where'd I? Oh, there they are. Okay, now then, we want to put.
It's so fiddly.
This.
All right.
That's right, Jackie. I agree.
Okay. Flip this puppy inside out. We'll have basket number 2.
Okay, we got that one pinned. Now let's get this one pinned. Jackie says she's skipping Wild West. None of the colors jumped out at me. Yeah, the only one that I really liked or that talked to me was the one called Delilah.
Let me look. See what they got going on.
That Lori Holt one, I'm surprised they didn't sell out of that one. Because it had all of Lori Holt's colors on it. I think it's called Josie or something like that.
I definitely wouldn't be getting that one.
Yeah, it's using her fabric line. That's the first time I've seen a Lori Holt fabric line in a cotton cuts.
I've never seen a Lori Holt.
Yeah, in a case like that. So this is something new. She must have been able to negotiate the colors. I don't know how many of you guys are following Sugary Dew. Well, she has another fabric line that just came out through Bernadette's or Benartex. So now she's had 2 fabric lines come out this year, which is pretty awesome in my opinion.
I like Mystic Cactus.
Yeah, I've seen some of the that colorway. It does look rather nice. Oh, what in the world? There was only one boutique.
Or the Tombstone, the Tim Holtz. I would do that one. How much is this thing nowadays? Let's see. How much does this cost?
It's $30 a month for the large and $26 for the small one, I think. You have to go look and see what they're charging.
Oh yeah, I'm on there right now. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about it. I've only ever done the small one. I've never done the large one.
Well, if you do sign up, make sure you use my name. It's too hungry. It's just a joke. I'm not gonna get anything. I'm just saying. Right now I'm waiting on the next Modern Maker box so I can make a video. As soon as it gets here, I'll be able to do it. It'll be interesting to see what they put in the box this go around. Since I'm an ambassador.
Let's see.
Oh, this is going to be such a beautiful quilt.
And the border kit's only $20, so that's not bad.
No, it's not. Gosh, it's hot.
I kind of like the Bluebell one too.
That's the one that has the pastel blues in it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The small flower bouquets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one.
And I like Tumbleweed too.
So there's a few up your alley there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nothing's like screaming at me. There's been times like the 2 that I did Well, the first one that I did, I had just never heard of them before, and I just wanted to try it, and I wanted to try something that was completely something that I would never, ever, ever buy,
Yep.
just to kind of get out of my comfort zone. So that was the first one. And when I did Piazza, it was a no-brainer. I saw those purples, and I was in because I'm a purple girl. So I'm trying to stay away from that, you know?
Yeah. You're like me, purple everything, but I've been behaving myself.
In my quilting though, like I don't really wear a lot of purple. I wear some, but like I don't wear a ton of purple. I don't have it in my house, but I love to quilt with it.
Sorry.
All right, so my baskets are done. I can whip stitch the lining closed. That's something I can do from bed. So now I just need to get these blocks pressed and I
Can
will
we
have
see it?
accomplished what I was trying to accomplish. I got 5 minutes.
Oh, show us your baskets. Oh, those are cute.
Mhm.
All right.
They match my bedroom. My bedroom is all black and white. Oops. Black, white, and gray.
Our bathroom is black, red. Wait,
Red and white.
it's red and white with gray tile floor.
Hmm I thought the little baskets with the red would make a good accent for my bedroom. So that's why I did it.
Jackie says, when I do them, I just do the single pay for the 10 months. Saves a bit of money on postage. Yep, it sure does.
Yeah, it really does. I thought about that. That's what's holding me back. I really don't want to pay shipping every month, but I don't have like $200 extra at the moment.
Yeah, I ran into that this month. I didn't have enough because all our money's been going out to Thomas.
We do like a big party for the 4th of July. It's pretty expensive. So I need to get through that first. I need some time past that first.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it though.
Chandra,
It's Shonda.
did you know that she's mean as jungle druid killer?
What? She's not.
Yes. Remember that incident in last time we were in California?
Yeah, so we were coming back from Sacramento when that was going on, right?
Yeah.
No.
You,
Yeah, I
they
was
picked
coming,
me up at the
but I
airport.
picked you up in San Francisco, so we were on our way back to Hanford. So there's this long stretch of highway between Hanford and San Francisco that's farmland as far as the eye can see, and we were getting it was a weather alert, wasn't it, that we were getting?
Yeah, been alert.
It was telling us that gust would be so bad in a certain particular area to slow our speed or pull off on the side of the road for that matter, because it was giving that kind of gusty winds. And when we got to that area, you could see that the wind was pretty bad because it was blowing semi trucks all over the place. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be scary. And so we're just moseying along the road, and a freaking tumbleweed came out of nowhere, and I couldn't steer clear of it, so I hit it. It went under the car and hit the car behind me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I damaged their car because I was driving Kristen's car, or was I driving Jared's car?
I think it was
I was driving the blue
The blue
car.
one,
Yeah,
blue
it was
car.
the blue car. So it was the smaller car. It wasn't the big one. And all I can think of is I bet I messed up the grill on the car. We pulled off somewhere and we looked and nothing had happened, but it scared the crap out of me. Because that's the first time I've come into contact with a tumbleweed.
I was gonna say I've only seen tumbleweeds on TV.
Yeah, I've always ever seen them on TV. It was pretty freaky.
Are they big?
Yes, that one that we hit was as big as the front of the car.
See them in the movie
When you
tumbling, then suddenly see it in the real life. Oh shit.
Yeah, because your first instinct is try to miss it all together, but you really didn't have anywhere to go because it was a 2-lane. Was it 2-lane or 3-lane? 2-lane, I think. 2-lane, yeah. So there was really nowhere to go. But the wind was even freakier than the tumbleweed in my, because you could feel it trying to lift the car up.
Yeah.
We need to
Now
hurry up.
that I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with that type of wind.
Yeah, it was pretty freaky. That's the first time I experienced that kind of wind. You know, in hurricanes and stuff, you experience it, of course, but it was the first time I'd driven in that type of wind where you don't even see what's causing it. Usually,
Yeah,
it's
I've
bad
never.
weather.
Yeah, mine was always storm related.
Yeah, it's usually storm related, not some random wind event like we have here. And I definitely would not be in a boat if caught in the Bitterrock wind because that would just be scary, more scary. Someone finally asked about the sewing space. You and Nikolai keep them entertained. I'm going to take the phone and go show it to them.
All right.
I'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to... Uh-oh.
Oh, thank you, Lizette. I'm glad you like my fabric choices. These are both fabrics that I got randomly. Like I just was shopping for fabric and I just saw a print that I really, really liked and bought them. I have like a little stash of those types of fabrics, and I'll just get like half a yard or a yard. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with it, but I'll just hold on to it, and then eventually I'll find something. And these worked out. They worked out well for this. I need to make some bowl cozies though. It's so basic. It's such a basic project, but I need to make some desperately because I heated up a baked potato yesterday and almost burnt my hands off because the bowl was so hot. And I'm like, I made bowl cozies for everybody except for myself.
Yeah. Nope. Not yet. I think you're there now, honey. Yeah, I think so. Can you see the sewing room?
I just see a wall.
That's
Yeah,
the
Liz,
one.
I had bindings in mind when I picked them up. Even though I didn't have a project in mind. So I figured whatever comes up first, a project or use it as binding. But I believe I still have enough left to bind a small quilt for each of them.
Okay, hopefully y'all saw the wall.
Yeah. So it's just the wall?
Yeah, that's where they're at on it now.
Okay. But at least your outside is closed up, right?
Yeah, it's closed all the way through now, but
Okay.
it's not anywhere near ready for me to move in, and they still have to paint. They're going to be painting. I think she's supposed to put some vinyl stuff over it first and then paint it.
Yeah.
But they got to still paint the outside too because they broke the seal of the paint when they took all that stuff off. Did everybody see that? The wall in the sewing room? I don't see anyone commenting. Hi, Lisette. A fat quarter can do a good size quilt. Yes, it can. Joyce, did you see the picture or the video of the wall? It didn't look like nothing but a wall with gray color on it. But last time I showed it to them, they could see where the window used to be. Now you can't see where the window used to be.
Okay, my last block is done. I have done everything I've planned to do today.
All right.
I feel so accomplished.
Have you tried yet to do a live by yourself yet?
Not by myself, no. I've done
Okay.
it with other people, but not by myself. Just because it's just so, I don't know that I can realistically sew and respond to the chat at the same time.
You can.
So it's probably going to be just me sitting here reading the chat and talking.
Well, the way I have it, I have a monitor. Yeah, let me show it to you. This is my little setup. See the monitor? And then there's the laptop. Because the laptop has a
Okay.
dead screen. All right. Anyway,
I just use my laptop and my phone. So my laptop is running one camera, my phone is running the other
yeah,
camera. So I don't
the other
I
one's
don't have
running.
a third screen.
Yeah, I'm using a phone for my other camera.
If you have an HDMI cable, you can use your TV for a big screen.
Yeah, you can.
I don't have a TV down here. I could probably use a computer monitor though.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what I'm running is a computer monitor. But you can use a TV because I was using a TV for a little while. Then we bought the smaller screen because that TV's big.
HDMI cable.
Oh, I did not realize this has the same print in it. Well, I'm not taking it out, so I guess that's too bad.
HDMI cable long enough to the screen, then your laptop, it would be perfect.
She said she was coming back on Monday to do more on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. But nothing about when they're going to do the outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't talk to her, so you've been handling that piece of business. Hopefully it'll be done before he goes home. I mean, goes back to sea. I'm hoping
When
he'll
does he
get
go
it done
back?
in the next week or so where we could get in there and start slowly going through everything and trying to remove as much of the glass as we can. I removed a lot of glass, but there's still a lot in there. Every time I move something else, I find more glass. It's
Yeah,
just
it's like
insane
sand. It
how
just
much.
gets everywhere, like glitter.
Yeah, the thing that I was worried about happening has started happening. I'm finding glass migrating out of that room into places in this house, in the rest of the house. I found some laying on the. I found a piece of glass in front of the refrigerator the other day. I found a couple pieces of slivers in the bathroom, which means they're on my clothes because I went in there and I must have rubbed against something, or my clothes did anyway, and it migrated out the sewing room with me. Because I have to wear shoes in there because there's still, even though I've cleaned all the glass off the floor, there's still pieces I'm finding even on the floor.
Yeah, glass is hard to get rid of. It hides.
It's not going to be fun trying to get rid of it because it's going to take time to get rid of it. Okay, so this is F.
Now, how do these blocks go together?
And then we need a B, which is this, and a B and E, which is this. Okay.
Bless you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being careful, Joyce. That's why I won't even let him go in there. And when I find it on the floor, I start checking feet. I have to watch Nora because Nora tries to slip in there with me. And it's like, okay, I told you not to come in here.
It's a little slippery, you.
Yep, she's she's a very bendable dog.
Maybe I'll finally quilt these placemats tomorrow. I gotta find backing though.
Do you know what you want to use for backing?
I do not. I've got these little placemats here.
Oh, those are cute.
Mhm. I have a matching table runner.
You gonna use them on your table, or are you giving them as a gift?
No, they're gonna be on my table. The table runner is already for my table, and I just kind of I didn't make the same pattern, but I'm using the same fabric. So I don't have enough. I've got my binding already cut, but I don't have backing in here, which means I didn't pick one. Because if I picked one, it would already be in the basket. I had to find a backing.
Lisette, how small were the crumbled pieces of bread? She says, I saw I was wondering if powder wouldn't work. I saw a reel where someone dropped crumbled bread on the primary impact area and swept the floor and got a bunch of slivers and pieces from the space. Yeah, I was wondering if powder would work that way because I remember that you if you wanted to get every piece of sand off your floor, you could use powder. And the powder for some reason sticks to the sand and it's
I had
easier
not
to get
heard
up.
that. I haven't heard the thing about the bread either.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that would work. Something worth trying out, I guess. My biggest challenge is getting it off as much of my fabric in there as I can get it off without having to throw a bunch of fabric away. I really am just not really wanting to do that.
I guess you gotta probably take it outside and go through it outdoors.
Yeah, gonna have to do
Oh,
something
so
because
not like crumbs, like the size of croutons, she's saying. I'm
oh,
thinking like crumbs.
oh, so she's talking crouton size. Okay.
Yeah,
Joyce says,
I've tried the wet paper towel. Yeah, I was gonna say the lint roller also, Joyce. I was gonna say take your fabric outside. You can use the lint roller on the floor too, but take your fabric outside, go through it outside, shake it out. You can lint roll it and then maybe throw it in the washer.
that would mean pre-washing things.
I know.
And I don't want to.
Either that or just keep it. You'd have to keep it all like in an enclosed bin or some kind of enclosed storage. And then as you need to use it, you can take it out and shake it out and that kind of thing. I don't know.
That actually is a good idea. I could put them in containers and deal with them a little at a time where I don't get overwhelmed
Yeah,
because I already feel overwhelmed every time I walk in there. I
I
mean, I got
can't.
better. At least I'm walking in there now. I wasn't walking. Nick, y'all know at the begin with, I wouldn't even go in there.
I remember.
Wouldn't even walk in there because I just. But over the last month, I've been going in there here and there and doing little jobs. Let's clean this spot off, or let's move this shelf so that when they get in there, they won't get their stuff all over my stuff. And I told Nikolai to make sure he set the law down. No cutting anything in that room. I don't need more mess in there. If they want to cut or sand anything, it's outside.
I don't
Because,
blame you.
well, yeah, large shop back with earplugs. I definitely need to buy a shop vac. Lint world roller. Okay. All right. Now let me see here. We need to put this on the bottom right here, like this. Ooh, we're making progress here.
So did I.
You're making progress too?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm kind of just make this come fit a lot.
Ouch. I wish I could just hire someone to come over here and help me do it. But they will not be as persnickety as I am about it. You have done a lot. Wow.
So far, it's just the whole page is like this.
Okay. And what is it? What is it going to be again?
I'll show you the picture of that. It will be
It's like a loop roller coaster.
when it's done. It will be like this.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
It's quite big too by the time it's done. Babe, when you moved that box of your Millennium Falcon, did you find any pieces on the floor?
Nope.
Okay. But I'm pretty sure there's some pieces on the other end of the room
Yeah.
because I picked some up, but I'm almost sure there's more.
I'm sure.
Vacuum the floors with the grain. Oh, you mean in the direction the wood goes in? That does make sense because you'd be going down the seam where the wood planks are at. Joyce says, got to go, people. I really enjoyed it. Got to go to the store and get back before it gets dark. I don't like driving in the dark.
I don't
Okay,
either, Joyce. So
so
go ahead and go, because I don't either. I get extreme anxiety.
Yep. Safe driving, Joyce.
safe driving.
Thank you for coming to watch.
We know, girl. Cut it.
Is it getting close to 10 o'clock? Or is it 10 o'clock?
It's 16 minutes over.
She already knows, little turd. She's like, it's 10 o'clock, Mommy. It's time to eat.
They definitely know.
I don't know how they know what time it is, but they do. That's why she's down here whining. You said you finished your last block?
Yeah, I did everything I came to do.
Want to show them your blocks, and then we will probably stop after that. I'm gonna spotlight you.
I just made a bunch of these.
Sorry. Oh, those look great. Are you gonna turn the blocks so they go in two different directions?
Well, there's two sets of blocks. So there's one set of 20 that goes and then that goes one way, and then there's another set of 20 that goes another way, and you just alternate the blocks every other one.
Okay.
So I had finished the first 20, so now my second 20 are done. So now I can lay this puppy out and sew my rows together.
Wait, what?
Hmm?
Are we talking about the T person or the B person? Someone shot at Pres 45 at a rally in Pennsylvania. Which president are we talking about? I don't keep up with the numbers of them.
I don't either.
Just who they are. Laura says her husband was just telling her about it. Which president got shot at, you guys?
I thought Trump was 45, so if they say 45.
I thought he was too, and I can't imagine anybody doing that. Ah, the former.
Oh boy, it'll be in the news
Son, it'll be all over the news tonight.
Oh God, that's gonna be all they talk about. I don't.
Yeah,
okay,
and
note to self: don't turn on any news. I'm just gonna put Netflix on because I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm so tired of what's been going on with social, or not social media, but the media itself. They're not talking about what should be being talked about, and they're too busy running the other thing in the ground, which is stupid.
Well, it's just all about everybody's got audience capture, right? So it's like not about reporting the news. It's about getting clicks and views.
Yep.
And so they say whatever they have to say to get people to watch and get people to click. And that's why I don't watch any news, because most of them don't tell the truth. Not anymore. Long gone are the days of Dan Rather and Ted Koppel and
I liked Dan Rather, boy. He really was a good newscaster.
I grew up with Dan Rather on watching Dan Rather.
Well, I liked him because he always asked the hard questions. But he wasn't condescending or trying to, what do you call it when you want to tell the news, but you want to embellish it and make it more than it really is? Nowadays, they
Oh,
just want to embellish everything.
yeah, that's all they want to do. It's
Use
because
all
it's
these
not, like I
big,
said, it's
huge,
not about the news. It's just
yeah.
about getting people, it's just about money. It's all about getting people to watch. So the advertisers pay for those ads, and that's all it's about. And so I don't watch it.
It's
I
like
watch
when you're
independent
talking
news.
about it's like when they're talking about a hurricane, they use all these graphic words to make it seem like it's 10 times worse than it really
Edit
was.
Editorialized. That's right,
Yeah,
Laura. That's the word.
yeah. They just make it bigger. And with the conspiracy theorists out here 10 times worse than they used to be, it's just insane.
Oh, Denise, I keep informed. I just don't watch mainstream media. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch Fox News. I watch more Democracy Now or things like
I
that. I
liked I
watch.
liked PBS for the most part, but lately even they have sidled over to make a big deal uh um out of how a debate went, and I'm like, I don't care
Even
about the darn.
NPR is sold out.
Yeah, this was 2 weeks ago. We're still talking about it, and I'm sorry, but when you have a speech impediment and you're his age,
That
and
man is
if you're
old.
tired, you're going to make mistakes
That man is old. But sometimes,
because
sometimes
other times
he'd
when
be a
he makes,
little.
yeah, other times his speeches are bang up good. You know who used to gripe me with his speeches is Bush, the younger Bush, not the older one. The younger one, I swear, could not do a speech to
He
save his
couldn't
life.
put two words together
No,
to
he
save his
couldn't.
soul.
I used to say
Poor
he must
thing.
be brain dead or something, but he just wasn't. Everybody has their niche, and some people are great speakers, and others who are in the same, like are a politician or whatever they are. Some people struggle talking, but they'll be good at their job, their overall job they're good at, or they can be worse. Anyway, uh, we your baskets are cute.
I know I love them so much. And
You
I
want to
love them
tell
so much.
you want to tell them anything about the channel or anything that you want them to know about before we say goodbye?
I am the worst person at plugging my channel. I'm the worst. I'm the worst at plugging my channel. I'm the worst at advertising my channel. I'm the absolute worst. And that's why for me, I just like to have a good time on my channel. I just have fun. I drop videos when I can. I try to drop at least one video a week. Sometimes I don't even make that. But this is just fun for me. I'm having fun. This is not an income. And for me, I don't make a dime off of this channel. It's just me having a good time. So I'm always going to tell you the truth. And that's really all I can say.
So you
That's
guys,
what,
if you're not subscribed to her channel, because I'm going to plug your channel, go over there and share some of your love and subscribe to her too to help her grow. Where are you at on subscribers right now?
1870, I think.
Oh, you're doing real good then.
Yeah, I'm
You're
trying.
getting close to that
I was
two.
trying to see if I could hit 2000 by the end of the year. So that'd be nice. So I think I might try to do some more. I might try to tighten down a little bit from now to the end of the year and be a bit more committed to the channel to try to help get my subscriber count up a little bit to hit that 2000 mark.
You and someone else I know, I can't remember who the other channel is, but there's another channel that's really close to the 2 grand mark. That's small, started out small. In fact, they had less subscribers than I did in December, and now they've bypassed me already. I mean, it's crazy. So whatever they're doing right. Whatever I'm doing is wrong. you know. Anyhow,
There's just no telling. There's really no telling, like what the
no, there
algorithm is
isn't.
going to push out or why. It's
Well,
crazy.
I could
But
tell you when you're away for 6 weeks and do nothing, that does hurt your channel.
yes, it does. It does. So I know a lot of people will pre-record content to drop while they're away.
Yep. the next time I go to the US, I will have backup in place so that I don't have that drop off again. Because it was a I didn't lose subscribers. I just lost viewer hours and watch hours. And it was just, it hurt my channel quite a bit. It dropped it way
Yeah.
down where it shouldn't have been. And so that was my fault. I just didn't have, I'm still learning all of this technology.
Yeah, I don't I mean, like I don't really pay attention to my analytics or anything like that. I just kind of I'm just having a good time out here.
That's all that
And
matters.
as long as it's fun for me, I'm gonna keep doing it. I just like to have a good time.
Yep.
I just like to share what I'm working on and share what I'm doing, and that's about it. I like to keep it simple.
Yep. And that's the best way to be. Okay. Let me think. What one? Y'all don't forget that I'm still doing the fundraiser. You'll find the link for the fundraiser in my community tab. If any of y'all have questions about the fundraiser, you can always send me an email or message me or whatever if you're, concerned about anything. We're doing okay. I would like to see this, continue on. And hopefully soon I'll have a date for you guys for that. Thank you for coming to my live today. I will see you on the next live. Denise says, I am subscribed to Chaunda. I get conflicted. Sometimes I both agree and disagree with you in the same sentence. I start to comment and then I can't remember if there was an R or not. Keep being
No
you.
R.
Yep, no R. Keep being
No
you.
R.
That's right. That's all we can be as ourselves. We can't hear you. Suddenly you lost sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. We didn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
No?
yes.
Let me turn it up. Hold on.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
My volume is up.
Can you hear us, Chaunda? Maybe she's not hearing us now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, she seems to have an issue.
Oh, let me remove this. We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello.
My phone died.
Oh,
And that's the one I was that's the one I was speaking on was the phone.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, what were you saying or do you remember what you were saying?
No, I mean I was just saying that, I was saying that sometimes I contradict myself in the same video. So, because everything is live. I don't script anything. And so sometimes I might look at something and think one thing, and then the more I sit with it, I might think something else. So it is completely fine if y'all disagree with me.
Okay, so thank you everyone. Well, thank you, Chaunda, first for coming.
Thank you for inviting
I
me.
have
I probably wouldn't have sewn it all today.
Yeah, I have missed sewing with you. And I realized the other day, I'm like, dadgummit, we need to get back together again. We've had a mishap where we didn't get together. And that probably is why I didn't realize how long it had been since you and I sewed together. So, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for coming. Thank
I
you,
hope you
everyone.
feel better.
Yeah, me too. I'm tired of this. This seems to be staying around. Thank you, everyone, for coming to my live. Don't forget, I'm sure I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I will post when the next thing is coming up. I do have an upcoming there will be 2 recorded interviews coming up. Saturday, I will be sewing with Russ, I believe. Hang on, let me make sure before I open mouth and insert foot. Hold on. Let me make sure that's right. I think it's Russ I'm sewing with Saturday.
Have you ever sewn with him?
I don't even have Saturday on here. Oh, someone I'm sewing with the 13th. But anyway, I'm starting with someone on the 13th. So having said that,
That's today.
no, today's Saturday. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant next week. Anyway, next week, for the 21st, I have a pre-recorded interview I'll be doing with, let me tell you who it is. The interview is going to be with John from Guys Quilting. That's who I'll be interviewing. It'll be pre-recorded, and I'll set it up as an interview. And as soon as I set up the interview or the premiere, I'll post it in the channel community tab as well as the Facebook group. So stay tuned for that. And there's some other people that I'll be interviewing soon, and some of them you know, and some of them you don't. So stay tuned for that, you guys. And again, thank you for coming and have a great weekend. Make sure to live, laugh, love, dream, and create from that. Good night, everyone,
Absolutely.
and have a great
Good
week.
night.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see everyone.
Let me close down the stream part. According to the